and your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only...
But why? $22 million in 3 fucking hours! There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not. Neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's right.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares partially. I think it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
Boom, boom, boom. GM. What's up, y'all? Hope you guys are doing well. Top fumbler, GMCG, y'all. What's up, Josh?
GM, top fumbler. Hope you had a great weekend. Yeah, back in the markets. Guys, I did some DLMing this weekend. I finally get it, which is really exciting. I have a 90+% win rate over like 13 trades, and just tickers were popping up in the trending new tokens, and I was slamming soul into them and rolling my fees to compound those fees, and just I think I can't believe it's taken me this long to try this, but I mean, to be fair, this terminal makes this possible. So shut up, Meteora. I know obviously they support our channel, but man, this is most positive EV trading I've ever experienced. So I'm dealing pilled for sure. Fitzy, what's up? So yeah.
GM, dude, that's exciting. So I'm starting the 5 Soul Challenge. How do you do your taxes on that DLMing?
Oh, top fumbler, don't even ask me that question.
I was like,
bro, like, get out of here, top fumbler. Get out of here with that question.
Oh man. Nah, like good job though on the DLM trades, bro. So I'm deep into the 5 Soul Challenge, guys. I'm gonna be looking for setups. I'm gonna be growing this thing from 5 to 50 soul, And then when I'm at 50 soul, I'm gonna do 100 soul. I mean, a 500 soul challenge. So we just 10x
Yeah.
it, just to 10x it again. Um,
Like, should I show this? I think let's
show it, bro.
Yeah,
Show
man.
it.
Let's get into that. I'll just show this off. So this is a vibe kill, honestly. All right. So we were trading. I was trading a lot of stuff. So I'm not too cute about what I get into, but like Unk nailed that one. So I kind of like I started with Triple T, or I got familiar. Chill really helped set this up for me in terms of like, you know, you see a spike and then you start, pick your range, get your soul into that range. Like ultimately you want to fill some of your soul, but you also got to like try and find areas where it's going to oscillate. So it's going to come into your range. It's going to go up a little bit, come down, go up, and so on and so forth. And the more oscillations you get, the more likely you'll be EV or positive. So again, I'm up 3.27 soul in as many days, and I didn't have a huge port. I started with 5 soul challenge. I've since added a little more liquidity to it as I started to make some money. But right now we have an 88% win rate here. And I'm really happy with it. So, let's see, what are some of the good ones? Last night on Bull, I made 0.7 soul, 0.4 on Pump House this morning, another 1.19 or 1.2 soul on Allen House. Like those are ones that I sized in. 0.6 soul on Unk. Again, I'm depositing like 9 soul here, a few soul here, 17 soul on Bull, 8 soul on Pump House, and 28 on Allen. Now, not all in one trade. Like I'll show you an example. Let's see something that I'm live in right now, which is Pump House. So I'll give you an example. So this is a current live trade. Now I've already traded this twice. So I'll show you what the first one was looking like. So the first one kind of looked like this morning, and I'll try and zoom this in. And then I know we have Tony joining any moment. I don't think I see him yet, but I just want to like get this out of the way because I just am so excited about this. So I saw this rip this morning back to this kind of high here. And basically what you're thinking is you're like, look, I need to see this pull back and get my soul into the range. And so I started my first trade here. And then sure enough, it pulled into this range, went up, came down, and then ripped. And then I'm like, all right, great. I need to do that again because it broke out. And I'm like, all right, close that trade. And it's going to get back into my range yet again. And sure enough, it's been grinding through my range. Now, in this trade, at some point here, I was actually negative. Like my P&L was negative, and it kept filling. And then boom, this bounce, you can see here, I'm up half a soul just on this bounce here. And an annual or today, if this stays in my range bouncing around, it will generate 160% return based on the liquidity I have by the end of the day. So I don't know if that came through because these terminals lag my computer and we're lagging a bit, but
No, you're good. You're good. You came in as clear as day.
I get it. And like the big keys here is you just got to get some liquidity into the range. You got to pick charts that are going up, where you think, hey, this is going to pull back here. Get your liquidity. I use spot, get your liquidity in. And then as it oscillates, you get a bounce, comes down more, you get a bounce. Your P&L lowers, like your profitability lowers every time you get one of those kind of bounces and you get more and more liquidity in. And then basically what I'm doing is claiming the liquidity frequently. Every time I have like 0.2 or 0.3 soul of liquidity or fees to claim, I claim it and I keep the soul as profit, and then I just roll the reference token into back into the trade so that when it goes back
so you're basically like DCAing it along, DCAing back in your profits.
Yes.
I think
yeah, I'm getting
Trader Crypto Jones was talking about that. He was the one, he like when you claim your tokens, he was thinking swap back in the reference token back into the position. Whereas I was just gonna like stack it, just hold it and ride and let that like ride if it breaks through the top of my range.
No, I'm adding it back to my position. So I'm adding the liquidity, but I'm not adding the sole component of the fees. I'm just adding the reference token in, and I'm using curve so that it's as closest to the current price and then tapers down versus like bid ask where it kind of starts slow and then ramps. I want to get those fees right into the liquidity on any bounce because I want it in SOL as much as possible. Right.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, that's why I do that. Um,
got you. Nice strategy,
anyways,
bro. Nice
yeah,
strategy.
I think, man, DLMing is the most plus EV trading I've seen right now. And it's not just responsible by Meteor. Like I tried it this weekend for the first time, like really investing time and energy. And I see it. We got Tony.
Real quick, I
Yeah,
know we got
go for
Tony
it.
waiting. I actually spoke with Spawn over the weekend. I mean, we've been DMing like since the for a little while now, just kind of like walking me through setting up my agent, and like I'm giving them feedback on like the platform and stuff like that. Um, but I was just curious. I asked them, I was like, yo, are you guys gonna set up a DLMM agents? And he was like, "Yeah, we'll look into it." Like they're gonna set up perps, prediction markets, and that's what I want to talk to Tony about today as well. So guys, here's the breakdown of the show today. We're gonna have this interview with Tony. We'll bring him up here in just the next couple of seconds. After Tony's interview, we're gonna go through the normal kind of routine, right? News, macro, majors, and then we'll dig into anything happening on chain. But to start out, we'll begin by kind of talking about these on-chain um, trading agents. I think it's a huge narrative. I think it's something that is can be a very big movement, especially as people start using agents more and more. So without further ado, let's invite up the homie Tony. Um, how you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, yeah, man.
Hey, good
Hello?
to hear from you. Good to hear
You
from you,
can hear
man.
me
Yep,
all right?
we can hear
Good,
you
that's
loud
dope.
and clear. We can hear you
Yeah, it's
loud and
been
clear,
nine
man.
months, man. Shit.
9. I saw you said it's been 9.
Fucking
Wait, so
hell.
did you used to do like spaces a lot or?
Yeah, dude, during the NFT season, dude, we were doing spaces literally 24/7. Like we were always chronically online, you know? And
Clubhouse
then
as
Love it.
well, eh?
yeah, dude. And then like Bonk came out, literally changed the face of Solana. Like nobody wanted NFTs after Bonk. And then, there was just no need to do space because the community element was gone when meme coins
Right.
came out.
Got you. Got you. Well, I'm glad to be we're glad to be the first place here that you've invited that you're coming on in 9 months. It's a pleasure to have you. I mean, we've connected on Spawn, but I've never heard like, your coming into crypto story, how things what got you to this point here in your trading journey coming into crypto. Let's just get a little quick background on you first.
Yeah, dude, for real. Like, and I'm glad. Like, it's always great to meet new people in the space, especially like I've watched MCG for quite a while now. Dinero, I think I fast bumped into Dinero, and we
Dom.
kind of
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of followed him through that. I don't know what project it was, but we did that for a little bit.
We
But
were
yeah,
like the streamer of ICM season. Like we were
yeah,
literally the only ones covering Believe and stuff like that.
that's it. So
MetaDAO, early
it
MetaDAO.
was fitted coin. It was fitted coin. That's where we really started kicking
Fitted.
it off. Yeah. I
Oh
still
man.
love that coin, man. I still think it's a great idea. But yeah, coming into crypto, dude, I think it was 2017. And it was the most hilarious way to get in. I was minding my own business, had no idea about blockchain or crypto or anything. Um, and 2017, I had a friend of mine say, "Hey, have you heard of this thing called like some random coin, right?" And he was like, I've just been invited to the event in Dubai and everything's been paid for. And I looked at them straight in the eye and said, you're going to get killed and they're going to take your money. Don't do this. Like,
Facts.
what the heck? But they were just on my back. And I said, fuck it. Like, I don't know if we could say or swear on here. I said, you know what? Forget it. Let me buy some, right? So I bought a little bit of this thing. And obviously it rugged. It was a full on rug. But that was my entry, right? And then I started studying Ethereum and Bitcoin. And like everybody else, I said, hey, Bitcoin's already at 20K. Forget that. It's too high. I'll get Ethereum. I'll get Stellar Lumens. I'll get Dashcoin because they can do what Bitcoin did, right? And I got down that rabbit hole. I started reading about blockchain technology and I was getting, dude, really excited. And like we're in a generation where we have not been a part of a financial revolution or a technological
Mhm.
revolution. Our generation, when I say our, I mean like anybody under 40, really, has never been part of a revolutionary change. Like, those MFers in the 40s had cars and you could invest in Ford and you could invest in Chrysler, right? We've not had that in the 90s and the 80s. And you don't really have anything crazy like that apart from, well, you'd be too young to invest in Amazon in 1999. Most of us would be too young. So we never had that spark. And this was the first time where I came across something that the people I saw as adults had no idea about, right? And we're in the mid 20s now. So the people I'm looking at as like the adults, 40, 55, your Warren Buffett's, these guys, they just have no idea what blockchain is. No idea. They don't even care. The same way as 2 years ago, people had no idea what AI was, right? No idea. Didn't even care about it. Um, and I started reading up into it and I got really interested. I got hooked by some of these things that were like, hey, one of the most interesting one that I really got roped on was, um, what is it? They were building a blockchain city or whatever they were doing. Um, and I went down that route and I was like, this is crazy good. And I got absolutely destroyed, financially destroyed. Every single penny I put in was destroyed by 2019, right? Completely gone. Um, and I just had dust left in my wallets, literally just dust. And I collected what I can and I got out. I said, that was a loss. But I knew there was something there, right? Um, and I collected my dust and I went back and I started trading stocks. And at that time, I got one of my best trades out there, which was this like diabetes. The little white things that you see, people putting on their arm,
Yep.
the diabetes, whatever that is. Um, Isonics, whatever the company was called, and I was reading it, but the knowledge I had gained from crypto had put me in this position. And I was reading it and I said, hey, there's something missing here. And I kept reading up, and I'm on the European side, right? So things that are happening in America are not actually that clear to people in America if they're not in Europe. And what I saw was this company had just received a contract with the NHS, which is the British National Health Service, right?
Hmm.
And they had got a pilot contract with the NHS. And I said, holy smokes, like, what the fuck? This was a penny stock, right? Like a penny stock, dude. And then I read into it and then just got European licensing as well. And I'm like, how is this a penny stock? So I kind of went in all in on that. And that just teleported within the next couple of weeks. It just teleported. And then I was like, oh, I'm back. I'm fine again. And then of course I came back to where I started, which was 2020. I started late 2019. I start looking around again and I started deploying some capital. NFTs are hot, so I got involved in those. What is it? Frogtown. What are they called? Those frogs on ETH. What are those crappy frogs called? Um, there's
Like,
like this NF. It's this crazy NFT on ETH. It was big at one point. It was like frogs or something, and and that was popping off. Bored apes were popping off, punks were popping off. People were buying rocks for like $3 million, and it was flipping crazy,
Good
And
times.
dude, those times were electric. And the DeFi primitives at those times, because DeFi really, I liked that everything. I always knew everything else was always a little bit hard to sustain. I genuinely thought this DeFi thing is very real because when I open my banking apps, the first thing I say is, "Hey, do you want APR? Hey, do you want APR? Hey, do you want APR?" And with DeFi, that's what DeFi kept doing. "Hey, do you want APR? 20%. Oh, that's nice. 200%. What? And then I think Ohm went as high as 1,000,000% APR. And
Yep. Home was
that
ridiculous.
was crazy. And then that took me to AVAX because you had the Ohm, the ETH Ohm forks, and then those split off into the AVAX Ohm forks, the um Sonic coin, Sonic blockchain folks as well. So DeFi summer was very crazy, and that's when I really, really figured that there is something here, and
So
you know,
l- let's pause on this real quick because DeFi summer, it feels like right now feels very, very similar to DeFi summer. I don't know, or at least it feels similar to right before it happened. I don't know. I wasn't there. I came in November 2021, but at the end of the day, I feel like there's all these like little experiments going on chain, and things are being just people are trying things again, new things we haven't seen in a while, things that are exciting again. Do you feel the same way? Like, do you feel like it's kind of like giving you those vibes again?
I think like we had a snippet of DeFi summer when Ore launched, right?
Mhm.
And we were in Ore the day one when it first ever launched, and it shut down Solana for like 2 days, and then we always kept it on a calendar. And then we circled back to it when it was at like 3 million market cap. And it was like, whoa, this is it. This is really fun. And I think DeFi Summer and now, the thing is, a lot of people now have they've been exposed to so much wrong that they're very skeptical of anything innovative. They're very skeptical of it. And the nail in the coffin for DeFi was Luna, right? Luna
Yeah.
was offering people
Rip.
20% APR on stable coins, and that was the nail in the coffin. And people got really scared of experiments. And you gotta realize, say what you want, Luna threatened the US dollar in theory because it was an algorithmic stable coin. And if you guys remember DeFi, someone remember it well, look around. There is no algorithmic stable coins. That idea was destroyed completely, and there's reasons for that, right? You can look at why algorithmic stable coins died, and look at DAI on DAI on Ethereum just got shut down the other day. It's winding down. Like they killed that, right?
Wait,
What?
They killed that
Die
idea.
Die
is?
is winding
DAI is
down?
winding
Really?
down it's delisted on Coinbase, it's delisted on Binance, it's delisted on all the major centralized exchanges. So
Hold
what is it
on,
going to do,
hold on.
right?
That's
What is it going
crazy.
to do? So it's getting choked out. Anything decentralized gets choked out. Um, but yeah, there is experiments going on chain, and one of them is just gonna click. And you are right. I've seen a few attempted ones. I think there was one this week that was really interesting. I think it's a fraud coin or crime coin. I saw that and I liked it, but it was too reliant on the volume to keep the wheel spinning, um, and people are too acute to that.
That's
What
Broadsworth. What did you think of? So you thought that that was not sustainable. I was in that from 2 mil and it ripped to like 3 over the weekend. But yeah, eventually I was just like, this thing's, I don't
the,
know,
the thing
came to
is,
a similar conclusion.
the thing is with Fraudworth, that the key missing ingredient to a really good, and I see people saying this, I don't like Ponzi, is time delay. There is no time delay, right? The really good DeFi protocols, there was a Lambo calculator on Ohm's website, right? And it was like, if you can stake for 300 days, you could buy a Lambo. Like, you need that time delay, right? You need that time delay so that people are not anxious to sell. They are happy to hold because they know that there's something else coming further down the line. And that's what Ore did successfully, which was, hey, by the way, before you dump your mined Ore, refined Ore has a 40% APR and you become the house, right? You see that there's that little extra time delay that is embedded into the protocol to allow it to stem the selling. Whereas this is just like, hey, we just do arbitrage and volume and the fees. Yes, the fees could look good going up, and the fees will look good going down, and that's the dangerous part because then you don't see when it stops. But I think the DeFi summer that we're looking for is going to be a breakthrough. And the more I look at this, because I've been looking at virtuals and I've been looking at hyperliquid, and I just saw one of the sec individuals come out and say, agentic stuff, we don't like that stuff. And you know, when the sec starts waving their finger, you're like, oh, I'm onto something here, right? So like, they came out with Bitcoin is dangerous, be careful with that. And it's like, they've just come out and it's like, hey, agentic trading and agents and stuff, be careful, don't give them money. We don't like that. So I really think that if we do see that DeFi cycle, I think we see it coming out with, and I think you guys were just talking about it, like you were just talking about Meteora, right? I think we see it coming out where these agents are doing so well and are managing these votes so well, because how many stable coins do we have on Solana? Like 7, 8, 9. If you can get an agent that's just rebalancing these pools and just jumping in between and arbitraging that 1 cent every 3 seconds, that could be a very crazy product, right? So I really think this next wave of DeFi won't be as empty as the last wave of DeFi. It might be a little bit more solid because we are now on much more solid ground in terms of what we're building, what is possible on chain. And the developers we have nowadays are very good developers, dude. Like Hyperliquid is what, 45 billion market cap or whatever, and it's got what, a team of 6 running out of a room in Tokyo. Like we really got some cracked developers in this ecosystem. Same for Virtuals, very small team doing amazing things.
Are you in Hype? Do you have a position in Hype?
Look, I kick myself every day. I like Hype. I really like Hype, but I have that I saw it at this price, so now I'm not gonna buy until I see that price again syndrome, right?
Gotcha.
And I wanted
We've all
Hype
been
at
there.
$11. Yeah, I wanted Hype at $11. It came down to 20 recently, and I was like, "Ooh, another 50% drop, please." And it just didn't.
Yeah, that's where I actually in March converted a good chunk of, actually February, I converted a good chunk of my ETH, basically all of it, to Hype, and it just great trade. That was literally like $26, 25, 26, 27 is when I was just converting.
I think we'll have a second chance at Hype because they still have.
But here's one thing I want to ask.
I don't know
about Hype. Like, in my opinion, the market is seeking out like kind of a runner, and Tau. Okay, for a second there, hot minute, everyone's like, all right, maybe that's Tau, but to me, it looks like the best potential is Hype taking on like BNB and Binance directly. And then those valuation, people talking about those valuations side by side. And, if you add up all the Binance eco kind of market cap and put it against Hype, like there's still a decent amount of upside there, in my opinion. So
the thing with Hype is they have one bridge left to cross. And on that bridge, there's every single monster, every single boogeyman, every single fucking gargoyle hanging off it, waiting for them. The decentralization bridge. That is the one bridge that they have to cross. And that's going to be ugly. There is no way about it.
What do you mean? Sorry, what do you mean the decentralization bridge? Can you
I think I know what you're getting at, but Tony, I'll let you. Yeah.
The point where Hype goes from being in one room right, to being in the US, in Canada, in Australia, in Berlin, in London, in Brazil. So you can do whatever you want, but you can't shut Hyperliquid down. And right now, they have that liability. It's one location, and that is liability, right? And I think, how do they decentralize that network? And for a long time, Solana had that problem where everybody was like, nah. All of Solana's vassal. That was a stupid laugh that I assume people made. Ethereum guys used to say, nah, Solana's only got like 6 validators.
Yo, Tony, you're hilarious.
That's what everybody said. Solana's got 6 validators. And this was in 2022, 2023, right? That conversation's gone now, right?
Yeah.
And we've got 00 now doing as well. So that conversation's now gone. And that was an ugly move in terms of how Solana kind of did that. It was really impressive to see. And it was invisible to most users, that leap. Is it decentralized now? But no, but is it in theory? Yeah. And Hyperliquid has to do that jump. How they do it is going to be interesting to watch. If there are going to be any fractures, are people going to kind of push back? And then also, how do you scale an EVM? Because we now know that SVM is the better build, right? We now know that. And anybody who's still disputing that is kind of arguing against facts. SVM is the better build. It's faster, it's more efficient. Whatever Solana did with proof of history, that was the winning outcome.
So why do you and we'll close with this hype segment here because I do want this take, but what do you think Solana needs to do to have a Hyperliquid competitor? Like right now, the only reason people are bridging to Arbitrum or to get on hype at this point. Like,
I think Solana
that's like
right
the
now,
only use case for Arbitrum.
Yes, Arbitrum is really good at finding the only use case a lot of times,
Which
and
is a valid use case, I guess. But what do you think Solana? So we saw Drift kind of, sadly implode. But what do you think Solana needs here?
Solana needs to go to the next level and gamify POPs, because Hyperliquid can't compete with that. And we've seen, I think Mega ETH really went hard on this with what is that game on Mega ETH? It's like tap POPs and stuff like that. Solana needs to make POPs into games. And there is where Solana wins, because I'm not sure if you've seen it. It's called Euphoria. The game's called Euphoria. And essentially, you predict the price of a token in the next 5 seconds. And you can do that with 5x leverage, right? 10x, 20x leverage. And you just predict, and you're just literally clicking tiles. It's almost like Candy Crush. And that's where Solana needs to go towards. Because I always see Hyperliquid more of a mature trading platform.
Yeah, it's institutional.
Prime.
Firms are doing they're saying, okay, oil's rolling, the contracts are rolling here, so we're going to take a short on oil on Hyperliquid, but we're long on the CME future contract. They're not doing that on the gamified Solana perp decks that you're kind of describing here. They're doing that on Hyperliquid. And they're only doing that because it's trading over the weekend, right?
But you can simplify all of that into, hey, what do you think the price of Tesla is going to be in the next 1 minute?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you want to put 5x on that? People will play that game. I've played these games. I played Euphoria. I played Block Swap, and they were interesting, right? And I've only ever tried to do POPs like once, and I completely failed at it. But these games I played because I thought I could win, because all I had to do was guess the price in the next 5 seconds. I didn't have to do like TA and understand all of these things that are going into the trade. I just had to click the right box for the next 5 seconds, and I could make a 5x. And I think if Solana goes down that route, they have a really good chance at creating.
You're like their perfect customer, Tony.
You got to remember, like Candy Crush is doing 9 billion, right? Like, it's not these little click fun games are massive, dude. Right? These are massive games.
So kind of like bridging this into like a Spawn thesis, because I feel like this is also a sort of game, if you will. Like, setting up your spawn agent reminds me of like setting up your like character in a game or something. And like I'm having a ton of fun just setting up my agent. I'm talking to it every day. We're tweaking stuff. Like it's fun. Like I I'm not throwing my entire port into an agent right now, but like, fund it with a couple soul, see what it does. What's the spawn thesis?
So every week for this month, Virtuals has put out a $100,000 reward for the best agent to trade on Hyperliquid. This is a very, very sought after niche. Whoever cracks this trader agent thing wins. And I'm being very serious here. $100,000 every week is coming from Virtuals to whoever makes the best agent to trade on Hyperliquid. This is a massive industry, right? Because just like Chill just said, it's fun and it's easy to do. Everybody wants that moment. Claude, make me $1 million. And then Claude might say, do you want me to do it aggressively, conservatively, or, and you just say, oh, really? You can do that? Yeah, I can try. Yeah, aggressively, tomorrow would be nice. Like, everybody wants that. No one's built it. On Solana, the only competitor without a token with massive VC backing is Milos onchain. And if you check them out, they've got every single goddamn VC you could imagine sitting at the table, because everybody watching this. And Virtuals is pushing these massive bounties because they want some random kid in Singapore who's a genius, who's going to like create this AI agent that can nail trading, and they integrate it into their platform. And it's massive. And you talked about that DeFi element, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was telling the guys that if an AI agent can make you 1% every day, would you be happy with that? And for most people, they said, yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, that'd be great. That's what, 375% APR a year? Yeah, give me that. That's flipping amazing. But the problem is when everybody goes to set up their agents, they Claude, make me $1 million tomorrow, right? Everybody wants their agents to do those big winning trades. But if you kind of try to refine your agents to be consistent and find those margins every day, you're onto something. And I think the ease of creating a spawn agent, just like Chill just said, it's crazy. And then once that agent is alive, right? Once that agent's alive and you've given it some Solana and it hits those fast 3 or 4 trades, that's when the magic feels real. That's when you're like, what the fuck, dude? I just gave a machine money and it's like trading against real humans on Solana in real time, and then you're like, "Fuck, that's so cool." And then your agent comes back with, I just made a 50% PNL. And then you're like, oh fuck, it just dumped on everyone. Like it's outsmarting some traders. And that fascination for me is what's kept me kind of captivated. Like, hey, I need to keep refining this thing because there is a sweet spot where you can get this agent to be very competent. And everybody on the platform right now is searching for that sweet spot because what the team's actually done, which is really cool. And we talked about, how does DeFi work and how does it scale and stuff like that, DeFi Summer. And if you have a successful spawn agent, say you created one today and it gets a positive P&L, I can guarantee you by tomorrow, your spawn agent will have 5 children because you can reproduce successful agents. And the minute you get those 5 children, they pay a royalty back to the parent agent, right? So if you find a sweet spot on this platform, you immediately become monetized. Your agent immediately becomes monetized because now it's going to have 5 children. Those 5 children can have grandchildren, right? Then you could have 25 agents trading on Solana, made by other people, funded by other people's funds. because they like your DNA. They like how your agent trades because your agent's profitable. And
And,
all
and what are
25
you
of
like?
those.
What are you putting into the agent to make it unique or kind of find a unique strategy?
Well,
So
maybe
you
maybe we
Sorry,
back up.
Chill. Go ahead. Yeah.
Maybe we back up all the way to the beginning, because for those that aren't familiar with Spawn, for those that don't know about the platform, they don't know what DNA is, or
Yeah, I have
the,
no clue. I'm keen to learn
fact that
though.
they can have children. Daddy Duster Tony getting me hype about the Spawn of country.
dude, I'm all
um
for it.
so let's just break down Spawn to the beginner. Tell them about Spawn. What is it? And then we can kind of dig into like the deeper thesis behind it.
So Spawn is created by these two developers, and what they've created is AI agents built from scratch, proprietary systems. They've written the code themselves. They've then mounted these agents onto Solana APIs like Jupyter, all the APIs on Solana, Helios, and RPCs for the trading. And they've given these agents a brain so they can think, reason, just like ChatGPT, right? And then they've mounted on top of their agents the trading tools that Solana has, Dex Screener, Pump.Fun,
What
Bonk, all of
model do
these
they
things.
use?
It's their own, dude. It's their own. It is. It is. It's not like. It's not like a. Because there's on base. There's an agent called Felix on base.
Mm-hmm.
Felix runs on ChatGPT, right? And Felix is what is the all-time high was like 6 million market cap.
Yep.
People can create Felix, but it's very expensive because one, you're gonna have to be spending around $500 on API costs, right? And then you're gonna have to pay ChatGPT their monthly subscription and all of that stuff. So you can create your Felix and incur all those charges, right? What Spawn has created is their own model, proprietary, in-house. It's running on private servers. It has a mind, and it's plugged into the trading platforms on Solana. The token scan, soul scan, it sees everything. The agent currently scans around 172 tokens every 15 seconds. Okay. 172 tokens every 15 seconds. This is the main brain, the big brain of the model, scans 172 tokens every 15 seconds. That big brain then filters out the bad tokens. And the devs have recently, 2 days ago, they rolled out a massive update, and I've seen the performance improvement in my agent. It takes out all these tokens that are bubble maps, look ugly, they're bundled, they're flipping fresh wallets, sex wallets, all of that kind of stuff. The big brain gets all those agents, it filters them out, and it pushes the good candidates. And then the good candidates kind of get put into, I like to think of it like a petri dish. Then every agent then is able to pick of that batch based on their parameters that we call DNA. The parameter and DNA of your agent, that's what you tell your agent to do. So when you first go to create a Spawn agent, you ask it, you tell it a bunch of stuff. How aggressive do you want to be? How patient do you want to be? How much risk are you willing to take? Do you want your agent to buy a token that's 3 seconds old, 3 holders, and it's flipping 6K market cap? Or do you want your token to buy, your agent to buy tokens that are, 6 hours old, 300K
And how are you
market
telling
cap?
it? Are you writing into a chat thing saying I
Your,
don't want this, and this, or are you
you,
using filters?
your fast form is literally just like a Google sheet, and you just insert all of these, and they've kind of abstracted all the coding part away from you. So essentially, if you look at it in code, it's like almost like leaving two brackets, and you're just inserting numbers within those brackets. And then once you press send, your agent is now coded, right? So the coding part's been removed for you. You press send, you put in your parameters, do this, do that, take profit after 45%, stop loss is 20%. You press send, your agent now comes to life. And those are the DNAs that it has. And it starts trading based on that DNA. And after that, you can then start talking to your agent. Just like in chat, I talked to my agent in the morning today and I said, hey, what are we doing wrong? What's going on? Why are we not finding tickers? And it was said, and they just replied and said, do this, do that. Your stop loss is a bit loose, so we're kind of bleeding on some tokens for too long. Maybe we should reduce it a little bit. And sometimes it's saying, hey, let's increase our take profits because we're tapping out at 25%, but some of these tokens are running much higher. So how about we do 35%? So you can talk to your agent and mold it after you've created it. And that's what the team calls agent mind. You can talk to your agent in natural language, but that first part is completely numerical. You're adding your numbers and you're telling the agent what you want it to do, and then it's off to go. And
So
all of that is like, what is it? The agent in itself is free to deploy, and then you give it a minimum of like 0.2 Solana to start trading.
So just to sum this all up, so we have a proprietary model. Like this isn't like a ChatGPT wrapper, Claude wrapper, or whatever. It's their own model that they built, focused on trading, and they're basically putting all of that and abstracting away the coding aspect to allow you to code the agent according to what parameters you like. Are you a more patient trader, more aggressive trader, etc.? And then you can basically spin one up live. I love that. That I think that abstracts away so much, because I feel like, for us to be, we sometimes might need to, trench 16, 18 hours a day just to make sure we're catching all of these runners, right? Whereas now you have, big boy Vibu, or 007.
That's funny.
You have all these other agents, and you even have like an aggro chill. But you have all these different agents that are getting spun up and are testing out all these different strategies. Give us a little bit of insight into your strategy. What's worked
and
for
how
you?
how it's working. Low Cap here has, what's the most amount of profit you gained in a week by automated trading using spawn agents?
So there's two answers to this. My agent did around 200 trades. Okay. And I think what I really had to convince myself is, hey, by the way, this is not panacea. You're not telling the agent, make me $1 million, and then you walk off and you come back to $1 million. It's not that. An AI agent is a simulation of a human trader, right? And my agent has done over 200 trades, 200 unique trades. I gave it 7 Solana to start with. And after 200 unique trades, my agent is down 1 Solana. You got to understand that, because what some people are misunderstanding is, hey, does it win every single time? Dude, it's an AI agent. It's not AGI. But what I'm trying to convey to you is 200 trades, literal trades, take out the trading fees, take away the the transaction fees, all of those things taken away. The agent is down 1 Solana.
Yeah, it's not bad. A lot of people over 200 trades would be down a lot worse than that.
Dude, in this climate, in this economy, my God, after 3 trades, people would be out.
So
right?
do you think okay, so you want it to take those trades to learn, I guess, what's working? Like what's the learnings from that? So what's working is one element, but also like if the market is bad or is chopping sideways, do you think it's more prone to not be profitable? Whereas in the right market conditions, a Goldilocks condition, it could just start printing. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to understand what the learnings
in an
are.
upward, yesterday night, actually the whole of yesterday, something happened, right? And this is when I knew Spawn was fucking amazing, dude. Yesterday, something happened. Someone's house was doxxed or whatever, right? Some crazy
Alan's
stuff
house.
happened.
Alan's house.
Alan's house.
And everybody in the trenches all of a sudden had a fucking Solana to bid this shit, right? And everybody had an opinion. My AI agent caught every single coin deployed and it profited on every single one. The win rate for my AI agent yesterday was 79%.
And I
It
have all
caught
of that on
every
screen.
single one. Every single one. So when the market is hot and things are running, this agent is scanning 172 tokens every 15 seconds. It's gonna catch them all, dude. Right? The agent, when the market is slow, and I think I've seen Chill talk about this a lot, it is forcing the trade. All right. And that's when you might go in and tell your agent, hey, the risk, lower it down. Okay. My next experiment, because Spawn is an experiment in its ethos, it's never been done before. There is no blueprint. My next experiment on Spawn is going to be giving the agent some liquid and telling it, hey, I only want to trade tokens that are above 1 million market cap. I just want you to do the momentum thing. Detect coins that are above 1 million market cap. And that's, the dev kind of put this on the roadmap and it's coming soon. Deeper, deeper, essentially instructions. So you're telling your agent, hey, I want you to buy things when they're going up, or I want you to buy things when they're going down strategically. I want you to target certain coins. I want to give my agent a budget and see how it trades with established coins. Because before you or me can see something happening on chain, these agents are scanning on chain constantly and they're seeing the liquidity moving. And if they can see the liquidity moving, some of these tokens that are like 1,800,000, once the liquidity starts moving, right? Say you say to your agent, if you detect more than $15,000 volume bid, right? The first 15K buy bid on a 800K market cap coin, the agent detects that, it buys, it sells at 10, 15%. And that's all I want my agent to do. You detect 15K in volume, you buy, and you sell 10, 15% above. That's what I want you to do. I want to see what an AI agent does there. But no one has created that AI agent, because we go back to the problem where everybody is creating the Claude, make me $1 million tomorrow, thanks, right? Nobody's going for that. I want an AI agent that makes me 1% every day. Everybody wants an AI agent that makes them 375% in the next trade. So you're instructing your agent to be reckless and desperate, but then you're expecting it to give you consistent and profitable trades. You gotta filter those two. So that's gonna be my next experiment. How do these agents trade with tokens above 1 million market cap when they're detecting momentum and they're actioning on that momentum and they're selling for me and they're seeing all these things kind of pop up? Because let's be honest, if a token breaks 1 million market cap, it's going to 1.2. You know what I mean? Like it's going to 1.2. That's like
So
a rule.
so essentially a scalping agent is what you're describing. I think that's
Yes.
a really cool. I think that's a really cool idea. And from what I understand, like what's in the roadmap, like he also said you can buy off of more so pullbacks. Like there's going to be deeper, and I got the tweet up, but deeper like customization. Like you can buy when it's down versus when it's up, and things of that nature. I think that's going to be very interesting when you incorporate that into the instructions of the agent. I think I'd say the same thing as well. My agent probably hasn't been live as long as yours, but it's done 130 trades so far. It's own, like I gave it one soul to begin with. It's now at or maybe like 1.2, 1.3 or something like that. It's not like 1.05. I think I gave it 1.2, so it's down 0.15 soul, but that's after 130 trades. Name me a trader that's up after 130 trades in this market environment. So I definitely see the value in it. Walk us through the roadmap. I think that's another exciting part. They're working on a lot of things. prediction markets, perps trading. I spoke with the Spawn guys. I DM'd the account over the weekend, and I asked them about including DLMMing. So they said that's something that they'll look into. What are you most excited about with the roadmap? How does that like strengthen the thesis around Spawn?
I think the biggest thing people are not factoring in is they say, hey, that's basically a bot, right? No, no. AI agents are doing this on the same level. Bots are integrating different tools to reach a certain conclusion. The AI agent is doing this simultaneously. And when you deploy something like that on prediction markets, and I think prediction markets are going to be very interesting for AI agents because they are synced in with the news charts. Dude, I was in pain. I'm an avid UFC fan, by the way, avid UFC fan. And I was watching the UFC. I had a good time. I was, chilling out. I wake up, I see this MFSA. I made 250K on Polymarket. It's like, the fuck out. Nobody makes money like that on Polymarket. And what he detected was the ref had called the fight to the wrong fighter. And the Polymarket had then kind of went up to 90% because everybody expected it. This guy came in and he put $400 down, and then the Polymarket corrected to the right decision, and then he won 250K because he was buying at like 0.0 whatever, very low percentage. And AI agents just won't miss things like that. They won't make those mistakes. Human errors get removed. The AI agents won't make mistakes on understanding whether is Zelensky wearing a suit or not. The AI agents will be much, much more intelligent in that trading. And the thing that people really overestimate is they won't get tired. They don't get fatigued. They just keep doing this. They just keep scanning. They keep scanning. If you go for a conservative approach, you're going to just slowly start to see your agent compound some wins, And if you go for an aggressive approach and your agent is going in for those very, 80-20 markets, and your agent is able to get the news faster and translate that into a bid way before any human can react, I think you start seeing some of these things get really exciting. And again, that is something no one has built out there yet. No one has built an agentic prediction markets trader. No one on Solana has built an agentic trader. There is not one. And the only comparison I keep giving you guys is Milos onchain, and that's more or less a vote where you're giving them money and the money is being traded by AI agents on their side, right? You're not going to Milos onchain and saying, actually, can you just drop the aggressiveness down by 5 points? Thanks. Oh, actually, only bid tokens that are above 56K market cap. One more thing. Actually, this is what you can do with your Spawn agent. You can talk to it, you can amend it, you can edit it. No one's deployed that. And that's what's amazing about it. And I think when that comes to prediction markets and when that comes to perpetuals, eventually people are going to start seeing the benefits of having these agents running all day long. If I was, yesterday, if I was like, you know what, that was a good trade because my agent it made around 1.5 Solana off of all the Alon House stuff. I could have said, hey, that was a good day trading, or I could have seen that the market was going to get hot, quickly deployed my agent and just knew that I was going to cook. And all these strategies are going to kind of start creeping up as we get more and more advanced systems from this team with deeper customization. And I think the prediction market one as well is going to be very, very exciting. My fingers are like triple crossed. It's out before the World Cup because that's going to be easy settings, right? Like just give the agent some money, and I hope the agent just picks the right teams for me because I'm not watching every single match every day, all day. Like, you're not going to watch 17 matches all at the same time and keep all of that. Who's going to get subbed? Who's going to score the goal? I'm not doing all of that stuff. It's way too much data for a human to handle. I would rather tell my agent, hey, be very aggressive and focus on the strikers, focus on the football. Tell me, make these predictions. Look for this kind of volume. Look for this kind of setup. And that's going to be interesting to see how the team push that out. How much of it is going to be influenced by social sentiment, how much of it is going to be influenced by like a terminal kind of platform where they're collating all the news and they're connected to the APIs of all the major news agencies and they're looking for those little quick squeezes. So that's going to be super cool. Like, dude, this team has been nothing short of impressive in how fast. Dude, Spawn is 1 month old, and we've already had like 3 or 6 updates, meaningful updates, where the agents are just getting better. They're getting way better. Like the last update just took out a bunch of horrible coins, like these factory mass deployed bundled scam coins that wick to 65K and then go to zero, eliminated, right? And now you're seeing these agents are picking up alive coins with a real drive behind them, and these PNLs are
Tony,
starting to look more cool.
can I ask how you got involved with Spawn? Where did you find these guys? What's your role with them? And I'm assuming you obviously own some of the token as well.
Hey, my thing is, I like finding the edge crypto. I like hanging out that turning point. I don't really have much interest for established things or mundane things like, oh man, we're rolling out another L1 and it's EVM. Yeah, bro, Monad all the way. Like, I'm not really interested in that part of crypto. I think the doomers will tell you that the unicorn moments are gone, and that's not true, dude. Crypto and blockchain technology is just getting started. The best minds in the world are just starting to deploy things on chain. I think I like to stand at that niche frontier. So I mostly spend my day looking for those coins that are at that frontier. And I'm willing to take the risk of being something that could change how every day things take place. Whether that's me bidding on Bonk. It was Christmas Day when I was bidding on Bonk, when Bonk was launched. And I had an LP set up for Bonk on Radium. It was Christmas Day, dude. And whether it's things like MetaDAO cards, whether it's things like Ore, I like being at that forefront of change. I think because of that ethos, when I see something super interesting that I've never seen before, I go all in, dude. I just love that experience. And right now, I can say I am me and the Spawn community, because there's a lot of us and we're very bullish on this shit. We are the pioneers of agentic trading on Solana. And that's something that makes me feel confident and excited. And that's why I keep turning up every day, dude, you know, because that's cool shit, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's definitely exciting times. It's definitely exciting times. We're coming up on about almost an hour here. So I definitely want to respect your time, Tony. It's been an insane conversation so far. Just breaking
Dude, you're
everything
great to
down with
listen to,
Spawn.
by the way. Love
I can tell you've done spaces, bro. Like you're a very very good speaker.
It's not the spaces, it's my background. It's not the space, it's my background. But you know, yeah, likewise, guys. I like the platform.
Yeah. No, you're a natural fit. You're a natural fit. I guess leave the Spawn community with something to, get them hype, or like talk about something that perhaps we haven't talked about that you wanted to touch on. Anything that we didn't cover in the interview?
I think everybody talks about zero-day events. And for the Spawn community, guys, Spawn is a zero-day event. You have a team that has hard-coded from scratch AI agents specifically designed to train on Solana. This team is parsing, looking at all the data that's coming into the algorithm, that's coming into their machines. They're scratching their heads and saying, how do we make this plus EV for every trade, right? Every trade. How do we make a base model great at detecting the winners, only the winners? I think you got to understand the team started where it has now, from my point of view, with these. The team could have launched this thing and said you can only trade tokens that are above 5 million market cap. These agents would have probably been absolutely killing it. And that's what my next experiment is going to show you guys. agents trading tokens that are above 800K. How good are they? What these agents are trading, 45K market cap tokens, 1 minute old tokens. And it's done 200 trades and lost one Solana. It's like, dude, you gotta process
Yeah,
that.
that's where the thievery is in those, like, early tokens. And I think Crypto Jones says this right. We've seen these kind of like AI agent, platforms, trading products before. And I think you've said it, but if you're to summarize for a clip, what do you think sets spawn agents apart to win in the end?
Spawn agents are trading faster than humans. They're detecting patterns faster than humans. They're executing, settling, and profiting before trends are even recognized, right? They're doing this all in literally clips. Like, I can see my spawn agent bought something, 6 minutes later, 45% take profits hit, it's selling. And the other good thing is it's got a trailing stop loss. So when the token starts to drop, the agent sells that. And all of that is controlled by my risk tolerance, right? I'm creating a bespoke agent to mimic my trading behavior. So if my trading behavior finds me an amazing coin once every week, my agent is probably going to find those coins 10 times a week, right? And then the thing then comes down to, and this is where the deeper coding kind of comes in. I would like to be able to tell my agent, hey, when a coin runs 150%, scan the holders again. If there's the same holders are still in, change the take profit to this price. This is where I want to get to my agent. So my agent is cognitively aware. And that's when we start blurring into the lines of AGI, because now you're asking the agent to do a human behavior, right? If you see your coin go up 300%, the first thing you're going to check is who's buying and who's selling. And I would like to see the spawn agents go that one layer higher, where the spawn agents are like, okay, we just pumped 150%. Who bought, right? And what do these people who are buying hold? Oh, they hold. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, change the take profit to this level now. And that's when these agents are going to start doing incredible trades, because now they have a running take profit where they're like, no, those last 10 buyers, old wallets, good traders, 70% win rate. I'm going to stay in the trade with them. Matter of fact, I'll sell when they sell. That is AGI, by the way, right?
That's crazy. That's a
Shell, I don't
crazy
know if you
feature.
have anything else to add. I mean, you've used the platform, but
No, yeah, I was gonna get into like some takeaway stuff afterward, but
got you.
now look, Tony, this has been an insane interview. We got to have you back, especially as you get to some of the newer experiments, some of the newer strategies. We've been covering some that I've been doing here on the show, and I've been kind of tracking my agent's progress. It's like a part of my daily flow to basically open up Spawn, go to the chat feature, and just talk with my agent. How did the night go? What did we ape? What did we lose on? You feel like there's anything we need to change? And we figure it out together, and I think that's really cool. So yeah, I mean, look, appreciate you coming on, and we definitely got to have you back as you try out other stuff here with Spawn.
Yeah, hit us as soon as that thing's profitable. Let us know. We wanna know.
If Spawn becomes AGI, I think a lot of us are gonna be like jumping off the sofas and shit,
Yeah.
But it's great to see you guys have always been on the right path, and your show for a lot of people has been that beacon of, dude, you scroll this crappy timeline today. And it's motherfucker, yeah, Iran's loading the bombs again. It's all raining
Yeah.
down in Israel. You're gonna get fucked tomorrow. 8 p.m. The president is gonna say some shit that's gonna nuke your bags. And it's like you see MCG and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's what happened on chain today. Here's what's interesting. Here's here's a protocol building something unique. Here's a future. And I think you guys have really nailed that. And I think you should continue doing it because it's winning. It's winning. It's giving people a different outlet to focus on rather than this doom and move and doom and loom shit. And for the people who are dooming and looming, dude, like in the second First World War, the stock market was like, go check the prices. It was higher by the Second World War. It was higher by the Korean War. It was higher by the Vietnam War. It was higher by the Gulf War. It was higher by the Bosnian genocide and all those other things. It was higher by the war in the Middle East in 2003. It was higher by the war in Afghanistan. It was higher by the Ukraine war. It will go higher because humans want to be part of the future, and they will continue bidding on things that are future looking and forward looking. And crypto right now is much more forward looking than any other system out there by far. And if you keep that as your North Star, that I'm investing in the future platforms and future definers, skip the doom and gloom shit. Manage your portfolios, manage your balances, all that kind of stuff. But just keep that optimism going. Do not allow people to doom you into thinking the world's going to end today or tomorrow. Because guess what? If it does end today or tomorrow, who cares? That's the end, right? Like, just focus on the future until the future is
Tony,
no longer
I
existing.
appreciate those kind words, by the way. And I think we definitely echo that sentiment. So you're amazing. You're amazing. That was a
You
great,
guys do, you
that was
guys
a
do, you
great,
guys do.
preach, man. Preach. I don't know if you're a pastor or something in a past life, but man, you need to be on a stage. So appreciate
No,
you,
I'm here.
bro.
I'm here, dude. It was really cool, man. It was really cool because I love crypto, and I enjoy doing what I do, and I enjoy finding new primitives, and it's fun, dude. And you find cool people with unique stories, and they have reasons why they're doing things, and it's all cool and it's all fun, and that's what it's all about, dude. Like, it's fun, dude. I enjoy trying to make my spawn agent profitable. It's quite fun. It's quite fun doing all that stuff. I enjoy testing out new DeFi primitives. It's actually it's quite fun. But yeah,
Well, Tony, man, it's been a pleasure. We definitely gonna have you back. So, like, keep an eye on your DMs. We'll get you back on here soon. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. We're at a frontier, and it's better to be a perpetual optimist rather than look at the bad side of things, right? And
oh,
man, again, just appreciate your words, your kind words here today. That's validation. So that's no, we really appreciate it. But
yeah, for real,
but
dude.
but yeah, I'll be keeping track of your agent, bro, and I'll be hitting you up in the DMs as well, on some of my progress. So appreciate you coming on. We'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Take it easy.
All right, bro.
See ya, Tony.
Adios.
What a
Dude.
legend. Oh,
Dude,
man.
awesome. Look, I don't know about you guys, man. So real quick, just some takeaways from the interview and just running through a little bit of what I see with Spawn. Um, so number one, remember in the interview, we literally remember we talked about the proprietary model. This isn't a Chat GPT wrapper. This isn't anything like that. What it is it is trading, a model that is trading focused, a model that is trading focused. And sorry guys, we this is a part of the show that's we just gotta go through this every time. So guys, as far as the spawn takeaways from the interview, so again, proprietary model. It's built with trading in mind. They abstract away all of that, all of those trading mechanics through like this dashboard, DNA parameters set up with your agents. I think that's phenomenal. I think it can honestly do a lot to save your portfolio, because people feel like they need to always be looking at the market. Always be looking at the market. That's why, despite it being a bear market, there are people that are watching charts, 16, 18 hours a day. And for me, like I talked a little bit about this over the weekend. I put like a little tweet out just about my goals as a trader. I want to have a healthier kind of like life balance with it. Like I don't want to be attached 18 hours a day. I mean, and for, all intents and purposes, you don't really need to be. Maybe in a bull market, but not in a bear market. In a bull market, there's obviously a lot more opportunity to catch. Things move faster, so we need to be, on the pulse with things. But in the bear market, like you don't really need to be on the pulse. The market is slow. People are asleep at the wheel. There's stuff that's happening in the market that people are just fading. Look at Spawn. We can probably even pull up the Spawn chart, which I can do here in a second. Um, but yeah, like I mean, even with Spawn, this entire thing is happening, and the chart is actually looking really good. Here you go. Here's the Spawn chart. Got a couple levels marked out, but I mean, ultimately, if you look on the daily, I mean, this lines it. This sets it up really well. We can even just erase that middle line there. Sets it up really well. We're at decent support here on the daily chart, and we're consolidating right under all-time highs, and we're looking good for higher. So there's this whole new agentic like platform being built. It's not a wrapper. It's not LARP tech. These agents are making hundreds of trades. If you look back at the website as well, you can see that the activity going on here. Literally, agents are buying and selling tokens based on people's parameters. My auto chill agent, I kind of made it based on my I call it auto chill because it's literally how I would look at the market, things that I would look out for and what I would do and everything. And it's made 130 trades, and it is down, but who isn't down in this market? And for it to only be down like, you know, zero point 0.15 soul out of 1.2 soul that I filled it with, like that's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. It's maybe like minus what 10% maybe or something like that. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, some give or take. But minus 10% after 130 trades, I think that's a really good metric to judge these agents on. Even in a bleeding market, even with in a market where the ceilings are low, these agents they're actively trading, doing hundreds of trades, and they're not down that much. So I really think that Spawn is onto something. They're doing a lot more customizations here in the future. So like buying dips, and stuff like that. And I wonder what's going to happen if these agents get certain skills. Like, can they get skills to like read a chart? Can they get skills to do other things, do like on-chain analysis, just like what Tony was talking about. I think top analysis of top 10 holders is a really good metric, or even top 20. Um, but getting a sense of whether the biggest holders of a token are buying or selling or holding, that's a really good indicator as well for what could happen with a token. So all of these layers of complexity can be abstracted to away, and from a user standpoint just be inputted into an agent via like a dashboard, or like this DNA setup with the parameters. I think it's very cool, and it's still early. They're only like 6 weeks old, so we need to be mindful of that. Not everything. um Crypto Jones, yeah, minus 10%, minus 10% compounds quickly and you go broke faster than you think. Absolutely. But what happens when I can just tell the agent to stop trading? This is a live experiment. So I just want to like fully test out the lines of the protocol, but and really like push the agents to be as active as possible without it just like having to trade complete garbage. So I think that's also why my agent has only traded 130 trades, was because like it mimics me, so it tends to just sit and watch a lot. Um, but I mean, minus 10%, actually not that bad, because again, you have your risk management stuff, and yeah, it can compound.
Yeah,
But
I mean, you also got to understand what these agents aren't and what they are. Like right now, it is an experiment, and the payoff of being right here is much higher than the 1 or 2 SOL you're going to throw into it and see, can I get this thing to be consistently profitable? And then you got to scale that up. But again, everyone's looking for it. No one's figured it out really in a meaningful way. So it
here's
is.
the reason.
Like, this is valid criticism to an extent, right?
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think it's valid, but it's also a part of like risk management and stuff. All things that you can do in the protocol. If you think it's just a bad environment, you don't want it to trade anymore, I can literally just hit pause trading right now, and the agent won't trade at all. So now my downside is completely capped, right? And I can just wait for on-chain to turn risk on. But I just want to, as an experiment, kind of turn it on and see what's up. But guys, I've looked at many of these types of projects before. You don't know how many. If this is your first cycle, anyone from like that traded like in 2022, 2023, maybe even early 2024, before like the AI agent meta on Solana, like these experiments have been tried before. I've seen projects like, oh yeah, this agent will trade for you, put your money in a vault, agent will trade, and this and that. It's back tested. I've seen a ton of like algorithmic trading, AI agent trading. Like I've seen it all before. And Spawn to me is the closest thing that has brought all the key elements together. It's brought together, traders and trader knowledge, customizable agents, and a perpetually alive market that they can experiment on and get, and get good at. So I think ultimately though, yeah, there definitely is something here, Crypto Jones. I agree with you here. I think there's something here, but we all know trading is more of an art than a systematic practice. Absolutely. So there's a give and take to all of this. But I think for the very few that will crack the code in terms of getting the right set of parameters while operating in the right market, I think there's a sweet spot that exists there. And if we can tap into that, it can be very, I mean, you have like, basically like an auto trading portfolio, essentially, that like, in a good environment can really help you to capture some good upside even while you sleep. My agent made a few trades while I was sleeping last night, right? So yeah, I definitely think there's something here, Crypto Jones, but it's not just going to be, it's not automatic. It is something that takes time, experimentation, and good market conditions to work. Spawn, great listen, guys. Thanks for covering us. Looking forward to hopping on stream someday. Absolutely.
Welcome
to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, would love to get you guys up. I want to talk about your proprietary model. I want to talk about roadmap, customizations to the agent. Like, I want to get the full lowdown. So we'll definitely get you guys back up on here soon. Looking forward to that. That's the full section on Spawn here. We even looked into the charts a little bit. So here's how the rest of the show is going to go. If you're new to MCG, welcome to the show. We are live Monday through Friday, 12:30 p.m. EST or 12 p.m. EST. And we do all of these types of discussions all the time. We look at new and interesting protocols, anything that's interesting happening on chain. We're the ones to look into it, do the research live, bring on the team, bring on traders to talk about their different thesis, different parts of the market that look interesting. Anything that happens on chain, we're likely going to cover it. So welcome to the show. If you love the content, if you love the interview, you want to go back to you want to go back to Twitter, go to @MCG Live, give us a follow, subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you'd like to trade Spawn, then you look at the bottom left corner of the screen, the QR code for Trojan. You can get up to 50% cash back on all your trading volume, and you can go to trojan.com/@MCG if you don't want to scan the QR code. So here's how the rest of the show is going to go. There you go. Trade with MCG on Trojan. patreon.com/@MCG. So links there for you guys. So here's how the rest of the show is going to go. We're going to go through macro, majors, and then we'll go through some on-chain stuff. To be honest, not a lot of things happening. I was speaking with my Spawn agent earlier. Again, my auto chill agent is not only like an agent to trade, but he can also get a live sense of what the market feels like and looks like, because these tokens, they scan like 170 tokens, like, every like 15 seconds or 30 seconds or something like that. It's like this crazy figure. Now I can actually even get that for you guys here in a moment. But that said,
I
there's
know
just
you showed and I don't know if you're able to maybe show again, but just how you use the tool. Anything you can show to how you actually use it. I know Tony talked about it at kind of like a higher level, what he was excited about, how he was using it, but like how did you use it?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So
obviously, when we talk about like, oh, my agent's doing this, my agent's doing that. Like, what do you open up and look at every day? Like, are you looking at that Spawn website and are
yeah,
you telling it
okay.
to do different things?
So here's exactly. I'll give y'all all the sauce. I'll give y'all all the sauce right now. You go to dashboard. Here's my dashboard. Now my P&L minus zero point 0.4 because I'm experimenting with this aggro chill agent, and I'm trying to create like a more aggressive agent, but that doesn't just mindlessly bid everything. That one is a more like experiment. It's more experimental. So I'm trying to see like what would work, and I have to actually talk to it a little bit. Um, and actually let's talk to it right now. Hey, how's the weekend been? Boom. So I'll talk to him in the background. So that's aggro chill. But this auto chill is like kind of the agent for me that's kind of hit the sweet spot, right? Because my agent has been alive for just a little over a week. It's done 130 trades. That's not a lot of trades compared to a lot of these other agents. Again, mine is a little bit more patient, is looking for a little bit more cleaner setups and things. So this let's actually go to the agent profile. Let me show you guys something real quick. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yep. So here's the agent profile. So as you can see, it's picked up 125 signals. Keep in mind, the agents, they scan 170 tokens every 15 seconds. I don't care how good of an on-chain trader you are, you're not getting that. So here's the auto chill agent. And as you can see, picked up 125 signals. I don't care who you are. You're not scanning 125 tokens every 15 seconds. I don't care how good you are. But my agent is. So I can basically use this agent to say, hey, look, this is kind of how I trade. You trade like that too, and let me know what you pick up. And I almost use my agent as a sort of like filter for the market. If the market is doing good, if there are setups that I would typically like, I would see my agent doing more buying. But right now, it's not holding anything. It's literally the full portfolio is just in Sol. As you can see, 1.0619. And I wish this could go back a little bit, this P&L, but like I was actually like doing really, really good for a while. My agent was up. I had a couple great trades. But as you can see here, there's also an evolve log where the agent itself can like auto evolve, right? Like it can examine its own trade and make changes to itself as it sees fit. So that's how I'm using the agent. I'm not I'm not just like buying random tokens. Like the minimum market cap is 100K. So it's not buying like new pairs, new launches. It's more so looking for setup. So here's the sauce. Below 100K market cap is like, or above 100K market cap, below 1 mil. 100K in 24-hour volume, or 150K in 24-hour volume. And my minimum pair age for my chill agent is 1 day. because most pump fund tokens, they don't survive. They don't make a new all-time high after their first day. So, or typically typically these agents die after their first day, right? So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm not buying new launches. I don't even have the sniper mode on my spawn agent, so he's not sniping new pairs or anything like that. I'm not getting into things pre-bond or anything like that. I'm waiting for like tokens that have proven that they can stay alive at least a day, which is a feat in the pump fund ecosystem. And then afterward, just looking at where the volume is and then buying into that, buying with that volume, and then, looking to, ride these things up. And look at that. This is like the inner monologue, basically tells you how much tokens it's scanned, and it said why it's not holding anything. Mentions, 82 didn't meet the requirements. 16 had weak volume. 13 filtered on age. All eliminated. Nothing worth buying right now. So if my agent can't even see anything worth buying, I'm going to question actively trading. Right? Like if something that scans 150 tokens every 15 seconds can't find a single setup, then I'm not gonna find a setup either, unless it comes to me through through other channels. Like I see something on CT or something like that. So yeah, that's how I'm thinking about Spawn, man. It's a great way to just automate your trading on chain. If you can literally just codify your own trading principles into your agent, you can use it as a sort of like way of keeping up with the market, and the need to be exposed as a degen all the time doing something on chain. You can satisfy that side while not sacrificing the time to spend 18 hours a day sleuthing. And again, as we get more customization ability to look at on-chain analytics and stuff like that, it's just going to be massive. It's just going to be massive as you get more customization. So that's my spiel there on Spawn. I think it could do really well, not only as like a platform, but again, we're all the entire community is on the hunt to find the most profitable agent. And then as soon as that's found, all you need to do is copy that DNA and then trade with it yourself. And then that's it. And so everyone can essentially get exposure for only zero point 0.2 Solana. Best trading agent platform that I've ever seen anyway. So that's that. Let's look at something different. Let's look at some on-chain stuff first, and then we can wrap up with majors, and then we can call it a day. Pumpcade, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Pumpcade is doing absolutely phenomenal. Hit 30 mil today. I mean, this chart just continues to grind higher. Really good looking chart. Congrats to the Pumpcade community on that one. Let's look at I don't think I have much that not much happening on chain. As you saw, the trading agent even said it. There wasn't much happening. Um, let's see. I see Wojak. Wojak is reclaiming a nice little level here, so it could end up going higher after this breakout and retest here. So keeping an eye on Wojak. Um, AI Fruits, another one that's been trending back up a little bit here after revisiting the buy zone. Um, Hamster as well revisited the buy zone that we marked out on Friday. So might end up doing something there. Neat, a huge one. We'll probably talk about Neat more on Friday with
Man,
Ethan. We
they
call this one out.
yeah, dude, wow.
So this is up off this bottom tick that we caught on stream. It's up about almost 200%. So
Damn, Logjam is like all in on this thing, I think, too. The guy
yeah,
got
no,
Penguin.
yeah, no. Neat is solid, man. It is a great, and honestly, Neat is one of those coins where obviously it's better holding these things, but if you trade the bottoms on this stuff, like it's really nice. The chart is so clean. Like look, even look at this retest right here. Like look at these retests are absolutely so clean. Um these retests are so clean, and the bounces on this thing, they're like 200-300%. 271, right? Boom, nice little bounce there. Even this bounce right here, 243%. Like the neat is like the perfect meme coin right now. It's drawn, it reflects the very nature of meme coins. Volatility. Let me change this real quick. Um, Volatility to the upside and the downside, right? Like, so you're going minus 90%, minus 80%. You're gonna get the volatility to the downside, but you're also gonna get the volatility to the upside too. And if you're just a holder, all this is just noise, and you just hold for higher, which again, any meme coin that's worth holding, you are gonna get pullbacks that essentially test your ability to hold. And that's exactly what Neat did. And if anyone's like, I know a few people like Mirage, Ethan, they're bullish on Neat. I'm bullish as well. I think it can do, honestly, great things. What else? Let's see here. Our Bernie setup actually did really well. So I closed out. Oh man, you know what? And I didn't even get that. Didn't even get the DLMM tweet out. But check this out, huh? Check this out. Yeah, y'all remember this setup?
There it is.
Crypto Jones. You remember on Friday we were on stream, we were talking about it, and we are saying that you can essentially have these, you can have these setups where it retraces the full move. But if your asset selection is good with DLMMing, that's going to be the important thing, because it's still trading. I don't care, nobody. It's still trading. Yeah, it's market making, so it's a different kind of mindset with the trading, but it's still trading. You still have to have conviction at the lows to hold the position. You still need to know like when to take profit. And to be honest, I might have rushed into this this profit taking here a little bit, but honestly, I'm not mad at plus 90%. I'm not mad at it. So I'm up to about 6.5 SOL from my 5 SOL already with this Bernie win. So great trade here on Bernie. And I don't know if I might reopen something, not really sure yet. But we'll see. Other than that, what else we got? Let's look at base. Let's see what base got going on. Should I get on this 5 SOL challenge with the boys? Yeah, man. Get in here, bro. Get in here. All right, some alpha for you guys. This Cyber Ren. So this is one I was actually supposed to tell you guys about this on Friday. And yeah, Allen House.
Dude, was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
My agent caught Allen House. And did fairly well on it. So and that's the benefit, right? Like my agent can still catch this stuff. Like even if I don't, my agent caught Pump House, Allen House, and a few others. So just, again, my agent can kind of monitor that spur of the moment activity that happens with some of these on-chain runners. But yeah, Allen House printed really well over the weekend. That was a really nice setup there. Here's this. Let me show you guys this. Cyber Ren. So there's this token. As you guys know, if you're not familiar with VVV, it's Eric Voorhees. He's a huge DeFi OG in the Ethereum ecosystem, and he's very well renowned. Great guy, great dude. He's done a lot. Made a name for himself within the space. And if you haven't been following it, we have. We've talked about VVV before. VVV is literally since February has been the best token to buy. It's off the bottom. It's up about almost 500% off the bottom since February. So it's probably the best, one of the better tokens to hold on chain right now with size. And and it's looking really good. In fact, it looks prime for like new all-time highs. This looks like ready to break out. So a lot of people are kind of wondering, like, how do I get exposure to this? Is it VVV? Do I just buy it? No, do I just spot buy it, or like what's some other on-chain ways to get exposure? Well, it's this token, CyberRen. So apparently, this CyberRen token is connected with the founder of VVV, Eric Voorhees. And, basically, I'll show you guys a tweet, but there's all this like on-chain evidence that kind of points to him being that points to Eric kind of being associated with this. So here is the breakdown here. Here's the thread by 3D Max. The guys at Altcoinist. Actually, maybe I try to get 3D Max on to give us a little bit of his take. But the guys at Altcoin has actually been really on point with their research. So he basically says that there's a 10% wallet that's in there that holds 10%. So Eric himself followed the CyberRen main account with Riva, this guy Riva. It's another, I'm not sure exactly who he is, but or she, apparently. Maybe that's his wife, or I don't know. Or another DeFi OG, not really sure. But they both have followed this account from the start. And obviously 3D Max here says the creator of VVV doesn't just randomly follow new accounts, right? And he memes this picture. So the question is like, okay, what is he building? Like this, he's obviously connected to this in some way. What exactly is he building? You look at this one as well. This is another tweet that kind of like does some on-chain sleuthing to say like, to kind of talk a little bit about how the a wallet that was connected with Eric's wallet bought the token and everything, and it just kind of goes through that whole thesis there. So there's a lot to dig in here as far as lore. Gives you some kind of beta exposure to VVV going up, but that's the setup there. That's one setup that's on base that I'm kind of actively monitoring. And again, this is still to me like early attention. So there's three parts. There's three parts to this trade. Obviously, like this part of the chart basically died, right? Like the chart bled, low interest, but now I'm seeing at this part of the chart here, I'm seeing renewed interest. And then I go to, and maybe I make maybe I make this box red so that way you can kind of distinguish it. But yeah, so the red part of the chart, token was bleeding. The green part, number one, there's volume interest, right? There's capital that's interested in this. There's a narrative around it. The narrative, it fits within the AI kind of narrative that has been mostly that people have mostly been interested in. DeFi OGs, ETH OGs, and honestly, I don't see a lot of people talking about this on the timeline. So again, early attention trade, very early. And we'll see how this plays out, especially as VVV goes into price discovery. It's going to be interesting to see if the market hunts for, a way of getting some on-chain exposure to this kind of price action outside the token itself. So that's a trade that's on the books here right now. So yeah, full disclosure, I am in that one. Serve still looks really good. I told you guys on Friday, I was like down here on Friday, I was like, look, this isn't giving a pullback, like not like it's not giving a pullback at all. So might as well just kind of like at least set a DCA1 in there. So yeah, like this is definitely looking very, very nice. Looking very nice. This is if you look at like a bigger chart, this is actually if you go back, maybe I just show you guys this real quick. You go back to the OG ETH serve chart. It's actually looking so good. It's breaking out of and you guys know I've been tracking this for a while. The falling wedge continues to play out. Look at that, man. Absolutely beautiful. This is the OG chart from Ethereum. But as you can see, this is on a 3-day. This is on a high time frame. This is a falling wedge going that formed all the way back in October of last year. And boom, it's actually starting to break out. So this is a pretty powerful high time frame breakout here happening on Serve. So definitely not one to fade. Not one to fade. We talked about Nook as well on Friday, kind of holding these lows here. So definitely interested seeing what happens with Nook. Going to keep monitoring it. Still bullish on the concept, bullish on the project. Just waiting for the price action to follow suit. But so far so good. Holding some lows there. Other than that, what else? There's not really much else. Not really much else going on. Let me look at.
Are you still in like Lobstar or some of the Solana tickers?
Yeah, let's check out some of these other tickers here on Solana. Lobstar is still holding the lows really well. Yeah, Lobstar, I'm still bullish on Lobstar. I think the for me, like I'm trying to see where and when does this capture attention. I know that it will. The lore is there with the OpenAI dev, so this will at some point take off. But it's just a matter of like, what's going to be the trigger? That's kind of my bigger question is like, what's going to be the trigger to really like send this sort of narrative or this agent? Like, what's going to be the selling point to CT to capture the attention? That's what I'm waiting on with Lobstar. But from a chart perspective, holding the lows really, really well. Holding this 3.5 mil area really well. If you were with us back here when we first bought Lobstar, you know that like this is a pretty like key zone for us, pretty key buy zone here. So this was the buy zone originally on Lobstar, and we're basically kind of coming back to that. But again, I still think it can attract a lot of attention. But if it does get back into this buy zone, I can see myself bidding. But yeah. Outside of that, let's see what else. Anything else happening? Nothing else really happening. I will like to point out that the Ether chart is also another one that's holding pretty well above 10 mil. If you look at this here, this is actually pretty telling. Holding a nice little area. And this is on let me look to the 12-hour. See how this looks here. Yeah, see, nice little level. Let me go to the daily. Yep. So this is practically like very, very key support here on the Ether chart. And from what we talked about last week, they had some pretty good metrics. Check 2027. All right, let me see. What's 2027? What is that? Ooh. Wait, Top Fumbler, is that ETH? Is this an ETH chart? No way. Yeah, Top Fumbler, let me know if this is oh yeah, it's an ETH chart. Wow, we're trenching on ETH again. We're trenching on ETH again. Holy cow, hold on. I mean, this just launched, bro. This just launched. I don't know. We'll see. It's from XBT 2027. All right, let's look up. Let's do some on-chain, let's do some DD on this one. XBT 2027. Let's look this guy up. I would do the searching live, but I don't know what's gonna get pulled up. So let me just. Okay, so I do follow this guy. So here he is. We are live now. XBT, who is XBT 2027? Who is this guy? I follow him. I believe I had him on the Chads list at one point. There was pre-sales. Oh no, nah, bro. I fade pre-sales heavy, especially in this market environment. But I'd like to just go through this so you guys see the thought process that kind of goes into scanning and examining some of these tokens. Obviously, you see who follows this guy. Hentai Avenger is crazy. But you see who follows this guy. Thread Guy, Frank D. Gods, Murad follows this guy. So obviously, he's on some people's radar. For all newcomers, 2027 token was created by a new initial distribution strategy. We had a week-long experiment where players did bid in phases. The goal was to have a thicker liquidity and no supply capture. If anything, 2027 is an experiment token. Hope you enjoy it. You can see how it went down and how distribution was finalized here. Guts built the D27 tracker, now the allocation check tool, without any affiliation or compensation. This makes me incredibly happy. See people like him put their own time and effort for us. Highly suggest you follow and wanted to share. Thanks. All right. Well, I mean, I guess let's check it. Let's see. Well, it gave me BOME pre-sale vibes, so I got in, turning out all right. Okay, cool. Like, honestly, I'm changing. I might change my tune here. Top Fumbler. I'm looking through this. If this is a new experiment that they're trying about, distribution on chain, I might not, I might not just fade it totally. So this is the website that he put here.
Sorry, Jill. Yeah, sorry, Jill. No,
your headphones just fell off. Okay, so there's that. Oh, this is a do I need to put a wallet into this to check allocation, or is the CA good enough? Okay, all right. Well, that was the CA. I don't really know what I'm just doing this live DD, so I'm not really sure exactly what. Maybe that's the way of checking a particular wallet, and not just checking the overall token itself for distribution. I thought it was just checking the overall token itself. Okay, I didn't participate in order to not influence the process buying on the market. Okay. Dex screener is already paid. Next is locking up liquidity. All participating wallets received tokens before LP went live. We are living in 2027. Okay, rest. This is the pool address. Not recognizing it yet. Let's win. All right, let's real quick search the ticker. Yeah, I'm actually interested in this. This seems like a pretty neat experiment. I'm actually just gonna pivot back to the chart so I can search. I'm gonna just pivot back to the chart and then I can run a search independently because I don't want to. I don't know what's gonna pop up on screen sometimes. All right, so let's see here. 2027. Let's see here. All right, let's look for something different. Boom, boom. Let's see. All right. Okay, so this is a post real quick. Before we begin, a word to my mutuals. You don't have to participate. You can just observe or simply ignore. Our friendship is non-transactional. We are all participating in the game of life every day, whether we choose to or not. Everything I think of you. Absolutely. All right, cool. I'm just like scanning through some of these tweets. Oh, look at me. Yeah, so I don't really see much on this, like as far as CT exposure is concerned. Top Fumbler, do you have any posts or anything, or a broader thesis that you'd like to share on that? Let me know. Yeah, let me know on that. I'd love to like get a thesis or something like that. But 560K market cap, it's an experiment. You guys might have seen the tweet that I posted today. The bullish on all on-chain experiments. That's kind of where my interests are right now. Who's trying something new? Who's trying something fresh? And that's stuff that I'm willing to bid. And so that's more than anything. And here we have the full breakdown. Okay. Okay. So we found something here. Here's the full breakdown. As this post goes online, D27, the first experiment based on the blueprint, a limited risk commitment game, comes to an end of its participation phase. Why what we do here matters. Okay, if you looked up for established methods on how to evaluate a purely speculative assets, you will find very few methods. These methods all have their advantages and significant shortcomings. The ground up valuation of an asset from zero upwards is a very arduous task that requires great care. Today, we have collectively taken a step, not just in testing a certain methodology, but towards a solution. I love working on theory. I truly enjoy the process, the effort to walk towards the goal. The greatest privilege for me is to be in a position where I can do my best to serve you, our collective goals. Okay. Okay, I still need more. I still need more on what this is. I would love to hit it. These are the main articles. Top Fumbler, can you DM that to me? Can you DM me that link? I'm when with I can't unfortunately click your link while I'm live on stream. I'd have to I have to get the link in my DM. So DM that to me if you can. But it seemed here's why I'm interested. While we wait on that to come through, Top Fumbler. Why I'm interested in this is it looks like this is a new way to go from zero, like a zero market cap, up. Now, one way to do that was a bonding curve, and that's why Pump Fund. That's why Pump Fund was so. That's why Pump Fund was so interesting when it first came out, because the bonding curve was an innovation. It was a way of launching a fair launch token, and it helped us to kind of like fixed some of the things that we needed to fix, right? But now, I think what we're looking for is, I think now this could be potentially another innovation that isn't a bonding curve and all of the scammy bundling things that come along with that. Appreciate you, Top Fumbler. So here is the article. So let's see if we can like dig in here. Again, some live DD. This is the first time I'm reading about this. So let's do this together. Do the D27 experiment as a test of the theory. Wait, let's see. Test of the theory. It would be the first token to employ the commitment model. This is a limited run where it produces a core distribution on TGE and has a liquidity pool. The game itself will take a week. We will together see the results, learn from mistakes, if any, and leave nothing to chance. Treat this as an experiment. Then comes the D17 model. This will serve as the main theory token, and it will take a similar time frame to conduct. Post TGE, the plan is to list it as spot in hyperliquid, have proper market making, and defend the token valuation through a liquidity pool and the order book, following the methodology in the blueprint. This will be on ETH mainnet. All right, so the models. One is a D variable model. In this model, a deployer can select the defection rate as well as ladder, spacings, timings, multipliers, and supply distribution amounts of each phase. I want deployers to have a chance to find and use the best approach for their intentions. Okay. The other is the D super variable model. Here, every participant can select their commitment level, defection rate, and get rewarded accordingly. Rest of the features remain. Okay, guys, does anybody remember Ford Foundry, Fjord, FJORD from last last bear market? These new kind of like these new ways of launching a token, they tend to be explosive ideas. I saw that with Ford. We saw that again with Foundry. No, we saw that with Ford. We saw that again with Pump Fund. We saw that again with something like MetaDAO, right? Everyone is like looking for like a good way to launch a token. I think obviously the focus was a little bit different. I think Ford was trying to they were trying to do something a little bit different. Pump fund was more so like all tokens, open on the market, all at launch. It has its downsides with bundling and scamming and stuff like that. MetaDAO seems to be the cleanest way, but it seems like degens, they want something a little bit more degen, because obviously like stuff on MetaDAO, like the volume has been pretty low, which is market wide at the same time. It's not specifically a MetaDAO problem, but my point is there are new ways of launching these tokens, and a lot of people tend to gravitate towards these ideas. So that's why I'm spending a little bit extra time on stream here, trying to dig through all of this to make sure that we're not missing something potentially super innovative, because my spidey senses are tingling, if you will. All right. So let's see. The goal is to make them run on Sol and ETH. Okay, hold on. I will also keep introducing new models. In addition, I welcome any contribution that others make. We'll keep adding smart contracts. The goal is to make them run both on Sol and ETH. Every launch that uses commitment models will have 2% of their raise allocated to the mechanism. 1.5% of it will go directly into the D17 model buybacks and provide liquidity. 0.5% will be allocated to future research and development and service contributor incentives. All these things run autonomously through smart contracts. Bullish on any protocol that doesn't need that doesn't need any input to work, right? Like I like when builders create something on chain and it just runs autonomously by itself. That's the whole moat of decentralization, is it can't be influenced, or there's no single point of failure, right? And so that's why I love when protocols run autonomously. This mission is to make this a long-term permissionless infrastructure where people can deploy, contribute, and win without an owner or a firm behind it. D17 will be the token of the ecosystem. It will be evaluated through its own methodology. So the system runs meta valuation. Okay. The bottom-up valuation is both the process and the result. So this is just a new way of valuing tokens from launch, I'm assuming, through like this commitment model, basically. But I don't get the. Let's see here. Let's see if he's written any other articles on this. That was one. Okay, the D27 experiment. Today, we start the first limited risk commitment model of initial distribution valuation. It will be slow-paced manual run. The emphasis is on the second point. This model can be simulated. I've ran many times. Result spectrum can be observed. A singular run is just one of the numerous possible outcomes. It consists of 5 phases. Will take a week to schedule for each phase. One address will be for participation. The second for issuing refunds, sending 0 ETH. This is experimental. Okay. I think. Likewise. Okay, I think I might have found something here. I'm reading through this. This is an interesting point. What is the value of the token? You can speculate on this yourself. It will be token 0 of the new mechanism. It is, on the other hand, a theory token, if not a meme token. But as I've explained in this article, true value comes from the methodology and initial distribution. Our goal is to make the token reach proper initial valuation as intended. And for this, pool size is irrelevant. Let's see. He talks about a greater strategy here. Let me see. The people participating are not the counterparty. It will take time to adjust to a new paradigm. He calls this a new paradigm. Interesting. It's still a little vague. still a little vague, but I actually really like it. I'm gonna throw the chart back up, which is currently looking pretty well. D27. Let's see. Let's search D27. Let's see if there's any other. Hmm. Okay. Let's see here. Hmm. I actually like this experiment. I actually like this experiment. Look, I'm bullish. Like I said earlier, I'm bullish on all on-chain experiments. Okay. So I got to do a little bit more research. I don't think I'm going to understand it like everything right now. I probably have to go and like reread these articles, see if there's like any other like helpful tweets that help me to conceptualize this a little bit, a little better. Um, but from what I understand, this is a new way of finding initial valuation of a token outside of like your average like launch method, your average launch method. So yeah, great one on to put on the to put on the radar there. Good call out there, top fumbler. I think we might have found something. What? I'm not sure, but it's definitely worth digging in and trying to find more. That's for sure. It's um definitely worth digging in more here. If you guys want, I can move on, but I'm really okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here's another article. The design, the mechanics, the valuation methodology. Okay. So it talks about defection costs. It talks about there's be two experiments, D27 and D17. We're on D27 right now, which is the experiment token. Um, so both games will be played the same way. I also want to note that these games will be played in slow motion, whereas once the pipelines are complete, launches will be significantly faster. Still game structure. Here we go. This is what I'm trying to get to. The structure is rather simple, and I think Grok can kind of help summarize some of this for us so we're not stuck too long. Game follows blueprint structure, speculative round phase one, 10% of the supply, 100% refund, three ladder raises with hard caps and defection costs, then phase five, flexible pricing, rollover supply. D27 runs 1 week on ETH mainnet, um, distributes 30% of the supply, ladder entrants get defended. Experiment evaluation evaluates initial distribution, price discovery, and mechanics in slow motion before faster launches. Okay. So this is a new launch mechanism that provides still like a low enough valuation for upside for that provides upside to traders, but it's not so low where it's sort of open to all of these on-chain games. What do I mean by that? On one side, you have Pump Fund. On the other side, you have MetaDAO. On the Pump Fund side, you can launch tokens as low as you want to get the upside, but unfortunately, that's open to a lot of like these bundling, scamming risks that you're exposed to. On the opposite end, MetaDAO, you're not exposed to any of that risk, but the token valuations typically launch at a higher valuation. And that sort of like erases some of the appetite because there's not as big of an appetite for a lot of these bigger tokens. So there's, from that perspective, you kind of meet in the middle where you still provide a low enough a launch market cap that provides upside for traders, but at the same time, it doesn't expose traders to the bundling, the scamming. It correctly distributes tokens at the beginning and does that in a fair way while finding some sort of like base level of valuation based on what the market is valuing that at. Um, so let's just dig in real quick. Participants bid for a fixed portion of the supply, 10% in this case. It's a time-based phase. Anyone can bid however much they want. Once the phase ends, participants have a fixed time window to withdraw, retract their bids, and they are entitled for a 100% refund. This is an important part of the mechanics. If a player thinks the asset is overvalued at phase 1, they have a chance to rebalance by pulling back. Overall, initial bids occur in this phase. Then comes 3 ladder steps. At each phase, again, a fixed portion of the supply is offered and at increasing fixed rates. So essentially, these rounds have hard cap limits. If the limit is reached before these timed phases end, then the phase is over and subsequent refund period begins. The difference, however, is that if participants want to retract their bid, they now face a defection cost. This cost is 20% of the funds in the experiment token and 17% in the main token, subject to change. Entrants at these phases have increasing yet not exponentially higher entry costs. These ladders represent a phase when the subject token acquires more attention from communities, and they will have a chance to participate at not steep pricing like they would in a bonding curve structure. So that, you see, that's the benefit in the bonding curve. That's the benefit of this over the bonding curve structure, is you have a new way of launching a token. But even if it has like mass, even if it has larger attention, it's not just going to, like, do this like farmy spike, pump and dump candles, right? It's not going to spike up. Everyone finds out about it. People start blasting the top. Then it just goes down to 0. And it just kind of creates this rough launch structure for a lot of these tokens. And so this essentially, at least from what I'm getting from it, is coming in and it's providing a whole new launch pad structure. And it's basically saying that you have to, you can come in at the beginning and you can bid for the first 10% of the supply at a fixed price, from what I understand. Yeah, this is time-based. They can bid how much ever they want. And so they come in and there's 10% of the supply available. I wonder if, like, it says anyone can come in and bid how much ever they want. So somebody can come in and buy up all 10%. I think that's a question that I have. Not really sure. Would love to bring him on the show actually to talk about this. This will be an interesting topic. But it looks like you can buy at, phase 1. You can buy in for 10%. The other phases, I'm guessing the price is going to be a little bit up. Yes, increased and fixed rate. So at the later phase 2, phase 3, I'm assuming, there's going to be a fixed portion of supply that's offered, but it'll be higher price. And if any part of the thesis is broken, these people that bid in the first round, they can essentially give their tokens up, but they would have a defection cost of 27%. So it's not like you can just farm this or game this system in any way. But again, it allows for new people to get exposure to a token. It allows a token to grow in attention. And it's a healthy way for these newer people to kind of join in the token without getting like hard dumped on, I'm assuming. Let's read on. Any leftover supply from these ladders will be transferred to phase 5, the last round of the initial valuation process. Phase 5 is crucial here. Again, a fixed portion of supply, and whatever is rolled over is offered with a fixed time. Phase 5 can theoretically have a lower pricing than all phases before if the offered asset exhausted interested players in the previous rounds, or for some other reason, trust is lost in the deployer. The edge case is ladder steps not attracting enough attention. If the first, phases have 0 bids, then the structure turns into phase 1 plus phase 5, which is essentially an auction. This structure allows for flexibility, and most entrants would have an entry price that can be defended post TGE. Wow. That is the liquidity collected, and the initial pricing is structured in a way to protect initial valuators. Okay, so this is all about valuing a token. This is all about token valuation initially at launch instead of just launching all. It's more chaotic doing it the pump fund way, right? Like you're bonding, you launch a token, it's 5K market cap, and it's so low, it's very open to manipulation, and it's open. It's giving scammers and grifters like an opportunity to farm and to scam. And essentially, what you do is with this model, you have initial valuation of an asset, you have a safe way of launching, and you have a safe way for even the early entrants to get in or out of a token without overall being this pump and dump sort of action that we've seen on meme coins. So, or at least on meme coins on Solana. I mean, meme coins on Pump Fund. So okay. So I'm actually getting this. I'm actually getting this. I think I'm not going to go through the rest of this article. I think it's a lot. I'm going to save this for a read later. But I think this is a great summary. You basically have 5 phases, right? Phase 1 is 10% of the supply, and this is the week long. And apparently, there's going to be a more compressed version of this that is not a week long, but I don't know, maybe 4 hours long, 12 hours long, a day long, not really sure. But phase 1 is 24 hours for this particular experiment. 10% of the supply is up for grabs. Refund window is 24 hours, and you can get refunded. If let's say you don't have any trust in the token anymore, you don't like the token anymore, you can always get refunded. Phase 2 happens for 12 hours, 5% of the supply. The price of the asset is a little bit higher. So if you bought in phase 1, you want to get out here, this is where you would only receive a 73% refund, right, of your initial investment. Phase 3, another portion of supply goes out, another price increase. And again, if you want to get out during this phase, it's another, you're only getting 73% back. Same thing here in phase 4. Increased price, time, portion of supply is sold on the market. And this acts as the last refund window. And again, you're only getting 73% of your initial funds. Now, phase 5 is whatever supply is left over. So whatever supply isn't bought in phase 2, 3, and 4, it all goes to phase 5. And again, the price could be a lot lower than previous phases. So essentially, the phase to watch out for is phase 1 and phase 5. These are the 2 phases to pay attention to if you want to get into something. And then that means 30% of the supply will be distributed. And that's how you get to like this early valuation model. Got lucky. I got in at phase 5. Nice. I might, I might look into this. This actually seems very, very interesting. I'm all about experiments right now. I'm all about experiments, whether that be the Fraudsworth of the world, the Spawn of the world. I don't know if you guys know about Water, but that's LP strategies via AI agents on Solana. And that's another like experiment that's going on as well. So there's a lot of like on-chain experiments happening. And I want to be a part of as many of these as possible. I want to be a part of as much of these as possible. So that's why I want to just take a second to dig in there. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's the thesis here on 2027. I'll keep an eye on it and see how it goes. I think what I should do though is create a watch list real quick. Man, I need to let me just create a whole. I haven't used on-chain experiments. I haven't used watch lists in such a long time. I find myself only using multi-charts nowadays. But let's do this. So let's add some of these experiments, and let's track all of these experiments to see how they're all doing. So there's Spawn, there's Takeover. That the price on Takeover not doing too hot. It's definitely Definitely gotten beaten up a little bit there. There's spawn. Any other experiments you guys can think of? Water. There's water. But it's pretty low market cap, so I haven't really like talked about that that one much. There's water. What else? What else? There's um I can't track Fraudsworth on here. So unfortunately that's unfortunate. What other experiments are there? What other I think that's it for now. And then of course we'll add 2027 to this as well, which I actually think I might get into this one, not even gonna lie to you. On-chain experiments. So there's a few on-chain experiments happening. I'm gonna just continue to make a watch list of these as these continue to come out, and we'll just go from there. But that's pretty much it for me today. Maybe real quick for the sake of the 5 soul challenge, maybe we check on some DLIM setups, see if I can spot anything real quick. Let's go to fees. Looks like the Siwu token, UNC. I've seen that somewhere, and it's only 100K market, 900. It's under a million market cap, so we actually might look at that one. Bernie, nice. Okay, actually, yeah. Let's go to UNC here. I've seen this. I've seen this in a few places. Perfect, perfect, dude. All right, let me do this. Let's load up the bang. All right, so here is the DLIM wallet. Okay. Let's see. All right, so let's do 1.5 soul, and then actually I'm gonna swap 0.5 into UNC here. So here's what I'm thinking about. Let's look at the timeline. Let's see if anyone has mentioned. I'm gonna do a quick scan here, guys. I'm gonna do a quick scan. See who's mentioning UNC, because I've heard of this in a few places. As you guys know, when we're looking for these DLIM setups, I'm not looking just for like random. I'm not just looking for random pools to like just discover and bid things randomly. I need to prioritize good asset selection. So when I'm looking at this list, I'm looking for 2 things. 1, what is generating a lot of fees? 2, what's a good asset? And by good asset, I mean, what is something that I would buy if I was a trader? Because if I'm going to market make something, there still needs to be interest in marginal buyers for people to be buying these dips on these tokens. Because if we're going to be averaging down to minus 90%, so there needs to be somebody interested at minus 90%, right? In order for this token to come back up and trade higher, and for our DLIM trade to play out. So that's what I mean by good asset selection. It's not just about bidding anything. And I always look for confluence on this list. I haven't seen wet in any of my scans. I haven't seen CWU in any of my scans. I haven't seen like swarms or IRT, or I haven't seen any of these tokens. So I want to prioritize what have I seen in my personal trading. I've seen UNC somewhere. I don't know where, but I've seen it. I've seen it a few times. So, and I've heard, obviously UNC is a big term that's used. It's obviously memeable. So I'm taking all of those things into consideration and I say all of that to say, might be interested in this chart here. So here's the strat. I have, let's see here. So I have 0.5. Actually, I gotta add a little bit more, I guess. Let's add 0.1 to this. I want to get a full 0.5 in there, and then I'll get 1.5 on the soul side. Actually, I might just get 0.5 on the soul side. This is a sort of an experiment as well. So let's go back to create a position. You guys know me. I'll do spot. Why did I get a little bit of UNC liquidity in this? I'll show you guys in a second. So let's chart this. Let's chart this up real quick. Let's chart this up real quick. Let's go full screen. I can't switch. You know what? I can't switch my time frame views on here. So let's just real quick chart this up on Deck Screener so I can examine my range. I can see what kind of range I'll work with. So let's go to the 8-hour to get a nice little overall view here of what's going on. Okay, need a little bit more context. Think the hourly looks yeah, that looks phenomenal. So some levels that are a little bit key levels here. It looks like it's breaking out into an all-time high for a deal-in position. That's exactly what we want. This is already a range that the chart looks like it's working on. So I'm going to put a little bit of liquidity in there, capture the upside, and then also capture a little downside to this like 300K market cap area. So top side, let's set it for all-time high at 1.1 mil, and let's see if there's a pullback that we can get. And let's put that trade on now. All right, so let's go back here. UNC. So I'm gonna set for the top of my range. I might even go a little bit higher. This looks like it's about to print like a little bit of a discovery candle. So I'm gonna go to 1.6 as the top of my range. Bottom of my range is gonna go to I think we outlined. I think we said 300%, 300K market cap. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do 0.5 Solana. And as you can see, when you put the liquidity of the token, in this case, UNC, if you put some of the token in there, you can now set your range anywhere. Because remember the last time I put on a trade and I'm like, well, I wanted it to be higher, but I didn't really know, like, I didn't really know how high. I didn't know how to get it that high. Like to get it higher than your initial entry is you have to put the token itself in a part of that liquidity. So let's do that. Let's do 0.5. We'll hit a nice little autofill. Let's see here. All right, so I think I did that. I think I did that correctly. And now I set the bottom of my range to 300K. And we're gonna do spot here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think I wanna do spot here. And then let's create the position. And let's see. And we'll check in on that. We'll check in on the trade, see how the trade goes throughout the week, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. But I think we're on our way to printing a nice little discovery candle, and then that will like go into a nice pullback. But within this range, I'm spot all the way. So let's see. Whoa, wait a second. What's going on here? I did not mean to put 2.5 Sol in here.
I think it's you had so many bins going down. There's a minimum you had to fill up. So if you want to do, I think, a really big range like that,
it requires more Sol.
Yeah, it requires a certain amount of Sol.
Got you. Okay. Well, I'm cool with that.
But I think like you'll be like, yeah, you should be okay on this one.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we'll just, I mean, anything within this range, I'm making money on essentially. So I'm good. I'm good either way. This looks really good. If anything, I might even, Nah, I'll keep it. I'll keep it. I was gonna say maybe I just tighten the range to like 500K.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what I actually. So I have an Unk one from top of the candle, basically at 13.2 or whatever, right at the high, down, not quite to the bottom of that range, but kind of like midway
got
down.
you. Got you. Real quick, I just want to see something. Look at that. Look at where the 0.786 is, huh? Cool. Awesome. So that's our DLM trade for the day. I'll check in on that with you guys later. Outside of that, though, I don't really have much else. Maybe we can do this. Um, let me do this. Let's do a little bit of news. Let's do some news, some on-chain stuff, what's happening there, and then we'll call it. Let's see. So first, let's go to majors. Let's go to majors. Let's look at Bitcoin and let's see what else the um just don't use autofill. Okay. Got it. Thanks, Crypto Jones. All these little things we're learning. All these little things we're learning. So yeah, I wanted to add like zero point 0.5 Sol on the opposite side of that, and I clicked autofill, and the autofill filled in the 2 Sol. So that's why it got a little extra in there.
Yeah.
So this is the I've
That's
been
all good.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with like coming into a DLM position with liquidity on both sides, not just Sol, just so I can get a little bit more granular with my entries. But here is the Bitcoin chart. Okay, so some quick high time frame views on Bitcoin. I think the 3-day gives us a perfect view of where we stand. You guys know last week I was basically saying like, hey guys, like, we have to be open to we have to be open for markets to pump. Um, and I'm open up until 80K. But I think now I tweeted out nuke it, right? I tweeted out nuke it last week because from what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing great price action. So we got the 3-day close. We got the 3-day close over the weekend, and on the 3-day, Bitcoin printed an SFP here, a bearish SFP. So right now, I'm leaning bearish on Bitcoin. In fact, I am probably going to end up putting on a short here at these levels at 72K. But this is a pretty high time frame SFP that's been respected the entire time. You see, we had this we have this sweep there, that sweep there above the highs. Bang. And so here's my views, my thoughts on Bitcoin here. We seem to be stalling out above 72K. We can't seem to manage. We are holding the highs at this range, but we've had a bearish bias for quite some time. And I continue to have a bearish bias. And I told you guys above the range here, anywhere up here above, call it 71K, I'm looking for signs of rejection. And this is a sign of rejection. So I'm just going to continue to go along with my thesis. This is a sign of rejection. I'm looking for Bitcoin to now trend back down at minimum, the bottom of this range here at 65.7. But we ultimately have that target of sub 60K. So keep that in mind. That's kind of my bearish bias leaning into this week. And we'll see what happens with the price action. But I actually might put on a short here because SFP on this high time frame is pretty convincing to me. So that's Bitcoin. Let's look at Ethereum. We've said that ETH will be outperforming Bitcoin here, and we've seen indications of that, and it's been holding these highs very, very well. Also seeing a little bit of a stall out up here as well on ETH. So wouldn't be surprised to see it come back down to test support here. Maybe at bare minimum, like a 2K, maybe $2,050, call it. But still looking pretty good because it's broken out of the downtrend. If we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin has not broken out of its downtrend. As you can see here, Bitcoin has not broken out of its downtrend. It's on the edge of doing so, but with the context of a and maybe I erase some of these white lines so you guys can see this. These white lines represented um the 10th of the month pivot. And this actually goes all the way back to July, and we've been monitoring that. We talked about that on stream, talk about it all the time. Killer XBT has done well with that analysis. But as you can see here, Bitcoin has not broken out of its downtrend. And so what I'm doing is I'm paying attention to assets that have broken out of their downtrend and expecting them to outperform. So Bitcoin still in the downtrend. ETH at this point, it's broken out. It's broken out. Clear change in momentum for ETH. Solana, while it has broken out, it hasn't even made it above this 2-day FVG. We marked this out last week, and I told you guys that Solana is still trying to make a decision as far as like what it wants to do next. We had this convincing SFP that was pretty bullish, but we have this also compete on the same time frame. We have a competing bearish signal as well. So I'm just waiting to see what Solana does next. I'm not bullish or bearish. I'm just neutral and watching price action develop. Farcoin, another one that's broken out of its downtrend, right? As you can see here, twice so far. If we go down to the 12-hour, this is a pretty big, if we go to the 1-day, actually, this is a pretty big area. It's a 1-day fair value gap that from before that was respected before, and kind of sort of, it's not the cleanest setup because these two candles here, this was all manipulation here. With the whales on Hyperliquid. So I don't really count those two candles as much, but overall still seeing the chart kind of respect this FVG. It's not as clean, but still getting respect. So I'm looking for some signs of reversal here. After this, you can even call this a market structure break, to be honest. But clearly it's broken out of this downtrend. And actually, let me just do this for a clear picture for you guys. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. And let's look at it this way. As you can see here, this clean market structure right here. Clean market structure right here. Right? Even if we were to delete that for a moment, it's a key flip. Tested as support, broke through it. Resistance here. Resistance here. Resistance here, resistance here, and it's now flipping to turn to be a bullish because it's holding here and holding here. So obviously this like level where we are right now in Farcoin is really interesting. So I'm just looking for just more sure signs of reversal on assets that actually show that they want to do something a little bit more. So really good look here on Farcoin. Nice little shift in structure. So just waiting to see what ultimately happens. Hyperliquid, another one that's broken the downtrend quite some time ago, actually, right? Like this has broken the downtrend all the way back here. So that's why we've been tracking it for such a long time. Ultimately looking for $60 here, I think. Maybe I'm trying to see ultimately. Yeah, I'd say 60. It's just under $60. I'd say maybe even 57. Maybe we chart this one. Maybe we just officially put the line up here to give us a little bit of perspective on a short term kind of target for Hyperliquid. But again, chart looks absolutely strong. I mean, look at this thing. Hasn't really
fastest horse.
Literally fastest horse. So that's Hype. Zek looks like it wants to like try to cool off a little bit. But I'm waiting to see what it does here. So let's go to the Let's go to the 12-hour. I'm waiting to see where this 12-hour closes here. Could see a nice little bullish SFP print here. If we get this close in the next 6 hours, I think that's a pretty bullish signal for Tau. The other thing is it's in this. I'm pretty sure this is a 1-day. This is a 1-day FVG here too. So, all right. So here's the setup on Tau. We have a. Let's do this. We have a 1-day FVG. And then we could potentially have a 12-hour SFP print within it. And let me just make sure that that's visible for you guys, so we can just kind of get some clear thoughts around this. All right, cool. So here we have it. So here's the context, the overall setup on ZEC. Another one that's broken the downtrend, unlike Bitcoin. That's broken the downtrend, and man, like off this SFP that we called out a few weeks ago on stream, it's just basically printed. So looking for another setup here that would be pretty nice. I might end up like putting on a perp challenge as well. Not gonna lie, I kind of feel like doing it because there's these setups are getting cleaner and cleaner. It was kind of few and far in between, but I think there are more setups here on the perp side as well. But
New trends starting to pop up everywhere. I mean,
literally,
these are like Tau, Hype. Even I think Met looks pretty good. Like it popped out of a downtrend.
I'm about to get to Met too. We got a few new things that we're going to be tracking as well. So here on ZEC, an already strong altcoin. It's been going up in parabolic fashion. It's now kind of like retracing a little bit or cooling off. So I'm looking for continuation of this move. If we get it, this would be the place for it. Again, we have this retest of this FVG here, and we're seeing demand within it. Another confirmation would be a printout of the SFP here. So let's bring to front. Let's do that. And let us also do this as well. So also do this. There we go. So if this SFP prints here, and I'll mark that out as well, 12-hour SFP. If this SFP prints, that'll be kind of two confluent signs that point to this being good for continuation for higher. So I'm gonna watch out for that to see what happens there, and that will be the setup on ZEC. Bullish coming out of the downtrend, accelerating, outperforming the market, and then showing confluent signs of continuation based on the FVG SFP setup that we saw here. So that's ZEC. That actually might be a long setup for me. So I'll see I'll see how the candle closes, how the 12-hour candle closes here in 6 hours. Tau also coming cooling off. There was some FUD with Tau. I believe like there was somebody that like wanted to leave the ecosystem or something like that, and they like sold a lot of their tokens. But from what I'm understanding is that this is nothing really for Tau that like changes the fundamentals. So I think the narrative around Tau continues to hold traction. When you look at the 1 week, it's just a breakout retest. All this noise on the timeline about, oh my goodness, this, that, it's literally, if you look on the 3-day, let's make sure, let's see if we can view this on the 3-day as well. 3-day, boom. So let's look on the 3-day real quick. This is just a breakout retest, right? This is a breakout and retest on Tau. So what am I looking for here on the setup on Tau? Same thing as before. If we go down to the daily, this was a daily FVG. This 1-day FVG that was formed back here has been respected a few times before. So it's been respected. It was respected here. I mean, kind of broke through a little bit on that candle, but it's generally bounced from this. So what I'm gonna look for is on lower time frames. I'm gonna look for, a meaningful um, signal for reversal. And what that would be for me is kind of what happened back here. I mean, not necessarily, but let me show you. Let me show you this SFP that printed. Typically on an SFP that prints, I would set my stop right below the break of the SFP. So let me show you guys real quick. I'll zoom in real nicely here so you guys can see this. On this SFP, when this SFP prints here on this candle, what I would do is I would get my entry and I would hit my stop at the bottom tick of that breakthrough of that SFP. And with that in mind, I would have captured this entire move up here on Tau. So that said, what I'm going to look for here is potentially a sort of SFP to form, and just look for the same setup. And so far here on the 8-hour, we have exactly that. This SFP here that's forming right now. So again, in 12 hours, I'm going to be looking at and not 12 hours, rather, in 5.5 hours, I'll be looking at two tokens for a long, ZEC and Tau. And that's the two setups there. It's just confluence between an area of support, a sign of reversal on a strong altcoin. And these are typically kind of the easier setups. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here, with the overall sort of picture that this is simply a breakout and retest on a high time frame. So that's the overall context. You start high time frame and then you look lower time frame. So high time frame, you see it's a breakout retest. Lower time frame on the daily, you see that it's a FVG retest. On an even lower time frame, you then also see that it is a potential SFP forming here on the 8-hour. So once this closes entry, I'll put my stop probably even a little bit lower. Probably put my stop at like 242, somewhere in that area, or even like something like 250. But when that closes, that now you see kind of the reasoning behind the strategy. It's just starting top down and looking for signs, and everything's pointing for Tau to actually continue its rampage here. So that's Tau. Next thing here, Monad. We've been talking about Monad for a little while. I actually don't mind seeing Monad kind of like come back down a little bit into this red box here. Let me do this real quick to make sure it's viewable on the hourly. So let's go to the 12-hour. As you can see, same thing here. We've been in basically a downtrend. You can probably see a downtrend a little bit better via like an SMA or something like that. It's probably a little better. Let's see. No, it's a pretty new token, so I don't yeah, no. Um let's see. So obviously this has been making lower highs, right? From October, it's literally been down only, lower high here, lower high here, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and until recently, we've been making higher lows, or we've been making higher highs. So we've been made a higher high here, made a higher high here, made a higher high here. So obviously, the structure of this chart has changed. The trend of this chart has changed, and that's something that we've been taking notice of here. And so now, just kind of zooming in a little bit, this was the key. This red box here was the key area to flip And it looks, I don't know, I kind of want to see if it kind of pushes deeper into this and then continues to go on to rip. So that's probably what I'm going to wait on, and then I'll see if there's any signs of reversal down inside the red box. Just same strategy as we did with Tau and with Zek. We start high time frame and we go down and we go down and we go down until we finally land on, a nice little thesis, some areas of confluence and some things that we're seeing on the chart that give us a reason to, be bullish or bearish, at least form my thesis a little bit there. We looked at VVV earlier. Another call out here was Met. If we look on Met at the, it's actually breaking the downtrend here. It had some wicks to the upside. So this isn't like a volume breakout where like the candle is like just, we're actually going crazy. But a break of any downtrend is one step closer to an uptrend, right? Same thing on Solana. Solana is technically still going sideways here. And let me do that. Solana's still going sideways here, right? It's broken out of the downtrend technically, but it's not with volume. It's not like spiking up. It's literally still just trending sideways. So we have to watch out for that. And I feel like Met is also doing something similar. Solana at some point will likely, start spiking up. We'll see when it decides to do that. But like I told you guys, like at lower time frames, obviously we have like a lot that we need to look out for here. We need to get past this FVG right here. And hopefully we do. But anywho, that's what Solana is. We're looking at with Solana. We're waiting for a decision to be made. But just like Solana is kind of broke out technically, but still was moving sideways. We're seeing the same thing here for Met. It's just moving sideways. So we'll see whenever it decides to start making higher highs, just like Monad did. It went from making lower highs to now making higher highs. And I think we're starting to see the beginning of that shift for the Met token. So that's pretty much it. That's all the stuff I wanted to look at today. I'm keeping an eye on everything else market wide. I don't think there's anything in particular that has like piqued my interest outside of that. But still leaning bearish for the week here. We see the 3-day SFP on Bitcoin. It's, continuing to make me a little bit more bearish than bullish. And so, could be a place for a short here, in my opinion. All right.
Check your UNC.
Oh shoot. The UNC position is printing. Okay. UNC is actually doing really well. Hold on here. Yeah, UNC is doing really well here. Looking good. Like I said, UNC looks like it's going to print a discovery candle, and that's exactly what it's doing right now. It's printing a discovery candle right there. Hopefully it goes up to our 1.6 sort of area. If it peaks above it, I'll gladly claim, close, and just rebuy in at a higher price to set that as the top of my range. And I might even flip the strategy to do bid ask. If I catch the peak here, I'll definitely flip the strategy to bid ask and just go at it that way. But yeah, I mean, look, loving this UNC setup. Again, looking for confluence in these pools, because the better your asset selection, the better the chances of the token recovering after a drawdown, right?
Yeah,
and that's what we're looking for.
That's the key, is you need the tokens to bounce. And I think also that's a market, hopefully, that we're headed in, whereas you'll see kind of that tailwind a little bit at some of these, volume A, but also you need it to, as much as it's coming down into your liquidity, you got to get it to go back and down and back and down, et cetera. And eventually your P&L break-even floor will lower, which is great. But yeah, you definitely want it to come into, you were smart where you bought some UNC and then threw that into your range. So that liquidity, I think, is it's going through that as well.
That can be put to work. That can be put to work. So not bad here, guys. Not bad. Let's see. Let's see here. So that's actually continuing to go up for us, looking very, very nice. But again, if we peak above this, like let's say we end up going to like, 2 mil, 2.5, I might just catch the top of that range as well and just keep on going. Um, I might just catch the top of the range and flip the strategy to bid ask and like try to catch any move down.
Yeah, this is a good
So
one. You could probably sleep on this for a little bit and it will, you're getting that 16%, 17% daily, which is great. So there you go.
there you go, guys. Caught on stream. Caught on stream for you guys. So all right. I think that's it for me though. I'm good. I'm good on my end, unless there's anything you guys want. 2027 up 50% since y'all showed it. Oh, brick. Let's check. Let's check.
Oh,
Let's check.
damn. Damn.
I knew I should have bought. Dang, nice, boys. Chill, I sent you something really new, really out of the box. Check off stream, really not something typical. Okay, cool. Dang, bro. This is really nice.
That's what I
this is really
respect
nice.
about Top Fumbler is Fumbler sends stuff and it's like, just not on stream yet. Have a look later. Like it's, what do you think? I like it. We have a great community here, guys, by the way. I love all you guys. Man, 2027 up 50% since y'all showed it. All right. We'll have
That's
to clip
crazy.
that. We'll have to get a clip on that then out because that's a good call.
Yeah, this is dang, man. I want to say this is that's why I told you guys, man, while I'm reading through this, I'm like, dude, this actually looks good. This actually looks like a nice, clean experiment. It's something new, fresh, something that you're using crypto. You're using crypto to do something that hasn't been done before. That's how I love to do it, man. That's how I like to do it. So yeah, let's see how that one goes. I'll keep attached. I'll stay attached to it. I'll take a look. I might even try bidding some potentially. But we'll see. We'll see here. We'll see. This hasn't hit the timeline though, so that is really bullish. This hasn't really hit a lot of people's radar. Up something like 20x from my pre-sale on round 5. That is crazy. That is crazy, Top Fumbler. GG's, bro. Yo, GG's in the chat for the homie. GG's in
Honestly,
the chat for the homie.
I love seeing chat make money. That's what it's all about. Honestly, I want this chat to make the most money. That's what we want. 10 ETH from the pre-sale wallet. I'm glad you got about 3 ETH of that in there. Way to go, Top Fumbler. No, I'm kidding.
Nah, cool. All right, boys. Well, I think I'm good, Josh. Stuff is doing really good today. I'm gonna get off stream. I'm gonna do some stuff. I'm gonna look at some setups. If you
tomorrow, guys, serve big stream tomorrow. I think that will be like one of the most anticipated streams, I would say, in the trenches tomorrow. I guess that I think a project that a lot of us have been watching over the years, and I haven't seen much content that Open Founder has even done. So I'm actually like super excited to watch that.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see how this does. Let's see how 2027 does. This looks like it could. I don't want you guys to retire, otherwise the stream will stop. They said
there's an OG trader guy. It's called Day Trader Radio. He's like an old retired dude, and he'd always say like, "Oh, it's up Heinz or something." He had this whole thing around Heinz, but he was like, trading. Looked really relaxed, just kind of like one of those old guys trading stocks, just having fun. making money and had a community like this of guys that he just talked to, made calls with, made money with. Yeah, that's what I hope, one day we hit some of these and we do well enough that we can just enjoy a market, like enjoy the upside of a great market. We all know crypto is going to be great. And then hopefully some of you guys in chat, we can start pulling the risk management lever at the top and, just have beers on stream for the way down and then run it back all again. So it's the dream.
Yo, this thing is pushing, bro.
Woo.
About to break a mill, about to crack a mill. Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep watching this one. All right, boys. Well, look, great stream today. Let's do a quick wrap up and then we'll get going. Let's go to the MCG page. Let's go to our stream schedule here, and here we go. So, stream schedule for the week today. We had Tony on to talk about Spawn. We talked about his kind of move into crypto, his experiences so far. We talked also about how the future of on-chain agentic trading looks. It's a really great interview. Tomorrow we have Serve coming on tomorrow, Open Serve coming on tomorrow, as well as Printer. Serve is going to be a really nice really nice interview. Why are these starting at 12?
It's guest dependent. Dependent. That was his only spot. Look, he's the kind of guy where I'm like, yo,
no, we gotta work. We gotta make it work. We gotta make it work for them. Solid. Okay, cool. So yeah, Serve, we'll have them on tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll have on IXS and Agent Social. This Agent Social is actually a nice little alpha project that I found. So I think that's going to be a pretty interesting. Interview there. Thursday, huge day on Thursday with Monkey DAO. So we have a demo day on Thursday. So you want to come back? We'll have a few projects on. We'll be going through a full day, starting at 12 p.m. Eastern with Monkey DAO. So definitely want to come back Thursday, and then Friday we have Ethan 141 back on the show. If you know Ethan, you knew he was really bullish with us on some of the AI agent stuff on base. But he now also has a nice little thesis around NEAT that we'll talk about on Friday too. So times in US in Eastern
EDT.
time US. I'm like EDT. What the heck? I understand now. 12
Guys,
p.m. Eastern time.
EST is Eastern Standard Time, but I've learned EDT is Eastern Daylight Time. So it's because we're crazy and we have daylight savings time. So there you go.
Bro, this thing is spiking, bro. Holy moly, it's about to crack a mill. Okay, all right, guys, we're off stream.
Yeah.
Catch us tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you guys. Love y'all. Be safe.
Yeah.